Morning, my dear.
Good morning, Vernon Springer. Good morning to everyone, wherever you're logged on for this all-important match between West Indies and New Zealand. Kia ora. It's about 3 a.m. in New Zealand, so I'm not sure how many fans are going to stay up to catch the action, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and the first game was a thriller, and it would have maybe given New Zealand some momentum to feel that, hey, West Indies won by 1 run. In the meantime, West Indies have made some changes, Stacey and King. There's no Natasha McLean today, but Sherry Fraser makes a debut.
No, she's played one match before for West Indies in T20s, but yeah, those teams that you mentioned, West Indies, just that one change, Natasha McLean, they've struggled with that opening partnership, so hopefully you might see Aliyah Allen just be promoted a bit higher this time from 3 into that opening position. But a lot of options for West Indies. Karishma Ramharak was exceptional, Chanel Henry last game with their bowling efforts, but Aliyah Allen stood out with that 49, her highest T20 score. New Zealand, well, they've got one change. Leah Huhuhu comes out and Eden Carson makes her way back in. So again, a healthy diet of spin from New Zealand. Sophie Devine and Susie Bates, they didn't give the team a good start last game, but I'm sure that they're going to try to work on that today. Hannah Rowe, well, she played a blinder of an innings. That 29 she scored, 26 of 19. She'll be looking to make amends because New Zealand did well to come back in that game and just lose by 1 run.
I'm looking at the West Indies women team, and I just think that it is overbalanced with bowlers, and they're just missing another batter. And we know that Stephanie Taylor is out through injury. But outside of that, on the reserve bench, it's worrying time for the coaching staff.
Well, you're not much options on the reserve bench. I mean, you've taken out Natasha McLean. You now have Shabika Gajnabi, who might have to step up. But on the bench, you've got Shanita Grimman, who is at 12, and Natasha McLean, who now is at 13. So not very much option. Shamila Connell, who isn't playing, who hasn't featured in these games just yet, and Janilla Glasgow, none of those players, genuine batters. So it's an opportunity again for a Shadid Nation to really put her hand up. Last game she featured in, that's the first game she featured in this series. She only scored 2 of 7. She didn't give herself a chance with that slug sweep, that attempted slug sweep that went wrong.
I'm concerned about Renisa Boyce, and when I saw Renisa Boyce a couple of years ago, she sort of had the quality to me, based on what I would have seen, to be in this conversation, even as a batter, even not as a wicketkeeper, because her technique, in my opinion, was not bad at all. There's no Brittany Cooper around here, but I'm very, very, very much concerned about the West Indies women batters coming through in a consistent basis.
Yeah, I agree fully. Bernice Boyce, well, if this team was picked, and as they mentioned, picked based on performances from the women's CPL and 60 action, her performances were poor. Let's just say that there were no double-figure scores for her. So again, looking away from her, looking away from a Brittany Cooper who is absent for this tournament, didn't really have a good 60 or CPL either. So my thing would possibly be, and I've been mentioning this for some time, get some of the younger players. Try to identify batters that you see potential in, that you can work with in terms of those under 19 players, and get them around this setup. The sooner they do that, I think it will be better for West Indies cricket.
And as you know, the provisional squad came out for the 22 under 19 girl players who are getting ready their camping, and as we speak. They're somewhere along here in the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, and I think they'll be going off to Trinidad, and so I guess we have a lot of work to do, Stacey and King. But as we speak, the umpires for today in this second match of the CG United Insurance New Zealand Women International Series right here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium will be our lone female umpire from the Caribbean, Jacqueline Williams from Jamaica, and Shannon Crawford coming out. Carl Tuckett will do the reserves duties today, and Michael Ragonat will be the match referee. All of the players, including New Zealand and West Indies, are coming out, and they're right in front of the Sir Andy Roberts stand. And what I think we will have is the Black Lives Matter movement. New Zealand have won the toss, in case you just joined us, and elected to field. So I think they really want to put some pressure back on the West Indies team. And as we speak, we see Hayley Matthews coming out. Looks like Rashada Williams, from my vantage point of view. Stacey and King.
Yeah, I think for New Zealand, from a New Zealand perspective, they'll be disappointed. 115 runs, not to cry over spilled milk, but 115 runs in 120 balls by their standards. They will think that they missed out big time. So again, winning the toss in this second match and opting to have a bowl first, because they knew that they put pressure on West Indies batters in those middle overs. And again, opting to use a bit more spin this time around.
It's not Rashada Williams, so they've gone for Aliyah Allen. And again, Stacey and King, more or less a big risk in going for Allen at the top of the order. But let's see how things work.
Yeah, I think for them it's similar for New Zealand. They open with two of their best in the world, Sophie Devine and Susie Bates. So West Indies opting, and again, just looking for that.
Golf course this morning while I was on my way up. He blew me up, getting himself organized. He's also going to take Team Antigua and Barbuda to a tournament in St. Lucia. So we start in here very quickly with Frank Jonas, who's bowled well so far in the Caribbean and should want to take around the Sir Vivian Richards pitch, even going to the World Cup. But Jacqueline Williams just making sure that everything is in place. New Zealand started with no slip. Got a short third man, a backward point, a gully backward point cover, short extra cover, mid off, long on, short mid wicket, short fine leg, and a mid wicket. The left arm spinner starts Jonas. She goes past Williams, and positive on drive by the West Indies captain Hayley Matthews, just playing it nice and easy up to the short mid wicket fielder.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice from New Zealand just to have that extra fielder in the offside region.
Here is Matthews back and just punching this down to long on, getting an easy single. And Amelia Kerr just had a run out. And West Indies are off and running. Matthews is one, and now brings Aline into strike. Jacqueline Williams just stepping up to the stump to make sure everything is okay. Something I see strange, Stacey. Allen likes to take two guards.
Yeah, I think most players at this stage, they take the initial guard, but also take a guard just to see where their off stump is, so that when they stride forward to either leave alone or play, they have an idea which balls that they can leave alone in that region.
Jonas, dot ball to Allen. Frank Jonas into Allen, and Allen is driving in the air, suicide. She just took off, but they caught the single in the end, and this is something I think they're going to have to work on. That was played just a little bit too hard in my own vantage point there. And Maddie Green coming in, and she picked up. It could have been maybe curtains for Allen, but she's off the mark, two without loss. Matthews into strike. She's back and just turning this into the vacant mid-wicket position and getting an easy single.
Well, these two are two better runners for West Indies, and again, they've played a number of matches together, even at Commonwealth Games for Barbados.
Jonas, bang on target, but that would have been drifting going down. Completion of over number 1. So the first over is off and running here. 3 singles, 2 to Matthews, 1 to Allen. And West Indies have been inserted by New Zealand. They're 3 without loss.
Yeah, as per usual, good start from New Zealand spinners. You just wonder if what their attack is going to be like, because you have a number of spinners as well as those couple seamers. They are who coming out of this match today for Eden Carson. But overall, their pacers, they've been really expensive.
So Jessica will start from the Sir Andy Roberts end, and straight away New Zealand starting. So Jensen, not Kerr. Jensen will start from the Sir Andy Roberts end. Mid on, mid off. Short mid wicket. Cover, gully, backward point, third man, deep backward square, and the slip. Matthews drive in, just like Stacey and King, to stay over that ball a little longer and find the gap. Just find that she's just contented. You don't get that big stride. Something I feel that she has to work on. Got to look to be able to find the gap. When she's driving the ball straight, she's a beautiful player. And she just needs to stay over that ball, get her balance going. Something I feel that the coaching staff has to work on. She's tall. That's something that she's going to have to get a big stride out. Driving that they're squeezing off, and a little frustrated there. She didn't get out to the pitch of the ball simply there, and because of that the bat sort of turned into her hand. 3 without loss.
Just having a look at that pitch, or where that ball pitched. Those last 2 deliveries, Hayley Matthews, there was some rain around yesterday afternoon. Ground staff doing well to just manage and keep things going for this second T20.
And one thing I can tell you about the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium is that it drains well. They've really done an excellent job here. A lot more can be done here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. It's a massive outfield. I still complain that the boundaries need to come in, especially for the women's cricket games. Here is a ball being played down into the backward point area to the left of, looks like it is Lauren Down. And it's easy single to Matthews, who goes to 3. And the West Indies go up to 4 without loss.
Yeah, good use of that delivery, good use of the pace from Hayley Matthews. Dong having to go across to her left. She's usually one of those really good fielders in that position.
Kids, Cricket West Indies have organized the Kids Fun Zone Day today. Some of the boys and girls maybe will be going to the respective camps, but we're off and running here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Jensen to Allen, and she was in 2 minds. Was thinking to go hard and had to change her mind.
Yeah, just pulled away in the nick of time. And so Sophie Vine is in that slip region, eagerly waiting.
And they seem to have worked out a ploy for Allen. They're not going to bowl her straight as possible. They're going to bowl her wide. You see the options very early. End of over number 2. Another wide delivery again. The umpire, Shannon Crawford, had a look. He wasn't interested. Yeah, so 2 overs bowled. West Indies, quiet start. They're 4 without loss.
And it's a good tactic from Hayley Jensen, because in that first game, Aliyah Allen strike most of her runs down the ground. Again, that straighter line, wicket to wicket line. She's not afraid to advance and go over that inner ring. This time around, Jensen opting to bowl wide off the crease, closer to that red line.
Matthews on strike. She's 3. Waits for Jonas, the left arm spinner from New Zealand. Full toss, and that's what I was talking about, Hayley Stacey and King at stride. You know, the left foot doesn't come out. You got to pounce on those very, very, very early and find the gap. Again, flighted delivery. Matthews not right. Misfield. A rare misfield that you see from New Zealand. Gives Matthews a single. She goes up to 4. The score goes up to 5 without loss.
He can't save all of them, Lauren Down. Tough luck.
They set high standards. Sort of reminds me of people like John T. Rhodes and Gus Logie and Keith Atherton. I know the days of Keith Atherton feeling for the West Indies team. You know, people used to be betting that give him money, throw the ball right over into the keeper's gloves. Here is a nice flighted delivery. We're talking about the line being bowled by the New Zealand bowlers to Allen. Not giving her any room there at all. She's having a torrid time because she likes bat onto ball. She's won, Jonas.
I think it's just about working out, you know, what areas and what lengths are being bowled, looking around as well and seeing what areas she wants to score in. Because all she needs to do is work that ball into the leg side, square it to where the umpire is and get a single. Just keep that rotation going.
And she's playing a awful shot in the air, got away with it. She just decided, as frustration as Stacey and King was saying, it was almost a pressure shot. She wasn't scoring and she wasn't to the pitch of the ball, and lucky to get away with it because the long on, Amelia Kerr, was right back onto the fence, and she got 2 runs in the end, but suicidal 2, 7 without loss. She goes to 3, Matthews is 4.
Yeah, you can see that that pressure was building with those dot balls. Just trying to release it with a hoik, more or less, on the leg side.
It's called game awareness. It's called the art of batting. You have to understand how you're going to get a single, how you're going to get off strike.
But I like the awareness of Matthews to push for 2 so that this over, because that was the last ball of that over, so this over she'll be facing, because Allen had some problems previous over with that line that Hayley Jensen has been nagging with.
Jensen from the Sir Andy Roberts end, ball to Matthews. Matthews is clipping this into the mid-wicket area, 1 bounce for 4. So she's made her mind up that she has to advance because West Indies have been off to a slow start in the power play. There's over number 4 starting here, and the score is only 11 without loss. And so Matthews decided to move into overdrive.
Yeah, and a good shot from Matthews as well with the fielding restrictions. There's a deep backward square and a deep third man. So that leg side area, forward of leg, is vacant. Good
comeback delivery there by Jensen, having to bowl a harder length ball to Matthews, cramped her for room, and she could do no justice but just defend her stumps, playing it up to the short mid-wicket fielder.
Yeah, I think this will be the challenge for Hayley Jensen. What line does she bowl for Hayley Matthews? She's worked out earlier Allen pretty well, but Matthews, on the other hand, yeah, you can't miss your length with her.
And she's decided to bowl a hard length. And she's come back well with these 2 deliveries. We see on the western side, Elaine Turner, her mother and her crew coming in to support the West Indies women's cricket team. They're always here. And they're going to sit in the sun, and they're going to have their drinks, and they're going to enjoy themselves, and they're going to cheer. Here is Matthews playing a loose shot. There's a appeal for a caught behind. She's out caught. Shannon, she's looking down. I don't think she's looked up yet, Stacey and King. She's taking a guard, but she's given out caught behind.
Yeah, she did look a bit suspect after playing the shot, almost as though she was walking off. So I think the umpire just taking that extra moment to, you know, put all those pieces together.
Let's look at it again. But you were right. And see if she got an edge onto it. Got to applaud our camera crew here. Yeah, got an edge. Deviation and a good catch by wicketkeeper Gaze. And I don't think the right foot for Haley Matthews got across to that delivery, Stacey and King.
Yeah, much better delivery from Haley Jensen to get that breakthrough. She's been bowling a straighter line, but this time around, opting for an outside off-stump line. Matthews goes for 8 off 13, West Indies 11 for 1.
So the West Indies women team, they've lost their captain in over number 4. Out comes Kashana Knight, the left-hander. And a lot of work. It's a headache for Coach Courtney Walsh when it comes in terms of this batting, because when your number 1 batter goes back into the pavilion, it sort of puts pressure on the entire team, but it's also an opportunity for a couple of other players, Nation and the company, Gachnabi, to step up in a very big way. Kashana Knight has been a servant of West Indies women's cricket. The Twins, in fact, they've done well. So New Zealand, they've prized out Matthews. Jensen tonight will get a first delivery, and she comes quietly forward. Again, I also like to see Knight get that stride in. She's got to put on her game face and get going, and maybe this is the position batting at number 3. And maybe just give her the license. Hey, come on, you just go out, have some fun.
The last game, she would have played her 50th T20 for West Indies, her 100th overall international match.
Major achievement. She gets a wide delivery. So there's a ploy this morning at the end of 4, Stacey and King. With the New Zealand bowlers, they decided to bowl a hard length, and when they've gone wide to the West Indian batters.
Yeah, they have, and I think it's a good tactic, because you've seen Sophie Devine put that slip in, and to me it's just having your bowlers bowl to their fields. So at least on the understanding from those bowlers that these are the areas I want them to score. This is a team's plan, and just making sure that they execute.
Jonas, I can't tell you how well she has bowled, Frank Jonas. She has been impressive, and the West Indies women batters have not been able to sort her out. She starts again, and little suicide single there by Allen. She just played the ball and ran, but I don't think Kashana Knight got onto her bike quick enough, but she got in the end. Allen goes to 4. Knight, the left-hander, now comes in to strike. It's 10-13 here in Antigua and Barbuda, 9-13 in Jamaica. Protection on the leg side. Deep backward square in the mid-wicket for the left-hander. Down the onside, she starts with a wide.
I will think that she missed out there, Kaishona Knight. You can just see that, well, we can see that they're making some adjustment. Aliyah Allen just pointed to Kaishona Knight to make her aware of those changes on the leg side.
I think she could have maybe just put a little paddle on it. I think she went hard at it, more or less. But she's still a knot. Lots of deliveries to face. Jonas into Bolton. Knight is back and turning his beautiful shot. That'll go down the hill. It won't go into the boundary, but she'll get 2 runs quite easy.
Yeah, they really need to work on that and on their communication. Now there, Leah Allen ground and came back right away. Kaishona Knight stopped to see where the ball was, while Allen was on her way down. Last thing they'll want is a run out.
Problem again. And again, the communication. It's almost like hit and run for everything. They're trying to get into a desperate situation. They just need to just relax. Know you want to get runs, but with a little finesse. Just be careful. Another wide here by Frank Jonas.
Shona might just need to look at how far across to the off that she's moving. You don't want to leave that leg stump vacant.
Jonas in to bowl to Knight. Knight is on drive in and been good so far. 16 for 1. Jonas Not for 11. She's into her third over. Knight is 2. She's facing. Gets a nice flighted delivery. She's on driving. Can't beat Divine, New Zealand's captain.
These dot balls will create pressure,
especially in the power play overs. And here's a ball pitching between wicket and wicket, but I think that would have maybe
drifting down leg
the
of
leg
it.
side, yes, because the keeper, as you can see, Gay there. So over number 5 completed, 16 for 1. Allen is 4, Knight is 2, Jonas is 3, has cost her 11 runs. As I welcome in Ronnie for the first time with us this morning. I want to find out if Ronnie is really enjoying himself here in Antigua and Barbuda. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Vernon. Good morning to all our viewers out there as well. Yes, so, and to answer your question, Vernon, I am enjoying myself thus far in Antigua.
And for Ronnie, this is his first time here in Antigua and Barbuda. And it won't be the last, so I know that he'll be back.
Yeah, once I'm getting an invitation from you, I'll be back.
Certainly. Interesting times here, Ron.
Yeah, quiet period here for the West Indies woman. This time, Rowe into the attack.
Yes.
It's Hannah Rowe. Batted really well for New Zealand in the last T20 International, hitting a 6 in the end to make things interesting, where they fell 1 run short of their intended target.
I think she maybe might have surprised a number of folks around.
Yes, certainly she did. So she's into Knight driving this one behind point. So I feel like they're at third man boundary. They get through for a single. It's a no ball signal by the umpire.
It is. And I think this maybe might have been Hannah Rose overstriding herself there, because it was a front foot no ball. Meantime, New Zealand ringing the changes.
Making contact here, clearing that front foot to heave that one down the ground, but not making the contact that she wanted. Looking for more power and placement there was Aline, and not getting the connection she wanted.
I think she lost her shape. Yeah, didn't stay long enough in the shot. She knew it was a free hit, and she just decided that she was going to hoik it. Didn't matter where the ball was bowled. Just need to make contact and keep your head still.
Definitely. It's Rowe. Into Knight driving this one down the ground. Passes that fielder at long off, and it's going to go all the way to the mid off. Sorry, it's going to go all the way to the boundary for 4. That's a lovely shot. All timing in this one there by Kishona Knight. And they pick up 4 runs. The total moves on to... It's 22 for 1 now.
I think it maybe might be 26 with that, but let's just make sure it might be 22. Yeah, based on our scorer. Second boundary so far of the morning. One from Matthews, who's back in the hut already.
Yes, this one down the leg side worked away nicely there by Knight, and it goes all the way down to the boundary for 4 more. So Knight is really taking advantage of some poor piece of bowling here from Rowe. This one a bit down the leg side, nicely ticked off there for 4, as you can see on that replay, Vernon.
Yeah, Knight going up to 11. The left-hander scoring the 2 boundaries in Knight. So she, in the meantime, score speedily up to 26-1. Some 10 runs out of this Hannah Rose over so far. The most expensive of the day.
Yeah, well, she chooses to go around the wicket now, and this time changing that angle, tucking up the left-handed Knight, and just dot ball to Rowe. So this is a good ploy here from her, going around the wicket and just tucking up the batsman, not allowing her to free her arms or such. And creating a little problems here for Knight. But Knight going along really well.
Maybe this is the impetus that she would need batting at number 3 for the West Indies women team.
Driving pleasantly, but straight back. No timing in that one. Straight back to the bowler. So the end of a good over there for the West Indies. I believe I make it
26.
yeah, it's 28 actually. Yeah, it's 28. So I believe that's 12 runs came off that over. So it's a very expensive over, as you mentioned. And I must say you made a point earlier in terms of Knight coming in earlier. Is that she have the license to go at the bowling up front, and it seems like she's really doing that at this point in time.
Yeah, quite a lot of work to get done here. End of the power play. West Indies, by their standards, would feel a little bit undone by just only coming up with 28 runs, Ronnie.
Yeah, but the fact is that Aline is still there, and she got 49 in that first T20 International, so they would be happy that fact. This one, full toss, driven to that fielder at the cover boundary.
New bowler is Eden Carson. Full toss, stroked out onto the offside.
So Carson had a good outing on her debut in the ODI series. Picked up 3 wickets there. She was a bit expensive in her first over, but settled down nicely and picked up 3 important wickets for her team. This time, this one coming off the pad. Knight looking to sweep this one. There's a lot of space there on the onside, square of the wicket. So any bat onto that, it's easy runs for her. And they again trying that similar shot. This time, was a bit more on that off stump line, trying to sweep that one onto the onside.
I think she'd be better served in maybe just working it rather than looking to go for that shot.
And exactly what you said, Vernon. She works this one into the onside for an easy single. Maybe you should have been coaching this team.
It's also understanding of the game. The batters themselves, they have to understand you can put in all the work you want as a coach. On the day, the batter needs to make that adjustment.
Yes. This time on that off-stump line, driven to the captain, Sophie Devine, at that short cover position. So strengthen the offside as a fielder going to that short third man. So the plan here is to bowl outside that off stump to Aline, and they pack the offside field, and she's not able to pierce the field. So at the end of that over,
Should be 29 you should have.
should be 29. Yes, at the end of that I take it the 7th over. It's 30. My apologies, 30 for one.
So, quiet period of play here. New Zealand pegging away with their spinners. Carson was coming very quickly, and she's bang on target. And Hannah Rowe will continue from this Andy Roberts end. Pretty expensive in her own ploy. 7 overs bowled here. Ronnie?
Yeah, Hannah Rowe is going to continue, as you mentioned. 12 runs coming off her first over. This time again, that angle from around the wicket is working for her to the left-hander here. In terms of she's bowling that straight line, and she's getting that ball to nip back into the left-hander, causing some problems here for Knight.
And I think what is actually happening is that Knight is turning square. She has to stay side on to the ball, which means her left foot needs to get deep into the crease so she can work that ball into the leg side.
Well, she has a huge trigger movement with that back foot going straight across to that off stump. If if we can see it, if possible. You can see her, that trigger movement she has takes her back foot straight across to that off stump. So she's really opening herself up to play on that onside. So that's Hannah Rowe again driven into the covers. Picks up an easy single. So this is what is required, Vernon. Just try to find the gap, push the ball around, get yourself going. It's going to get easier as the longer you stay there at the crease. It's going to get easier. It's going to be easier to put the ball away, but you have to try and rotate the strike as much as possible now and put away the bad balls.
You certainly have to.
This time Aliyah going down the ground. That's an excellent shot. One bounce over the fence, over the boundary ropes. And that's 4 more to Aliyah. And she's really going to get going now. She's behind the ball here. She's just 6 of 15 deliveries.
In fact, that boundary would take her to 10. Score in the meantime goes up to 35 for 1. Good positive shot there from Ellen, splitting the mid-on and the mid-off.
Again, short the response this time from Hannah Rowe. Pulled away to that fielder at that fine leg region. And Aline get through for another single. So this is smart batting here. Hitting that the previous delivery down the ground for a wonderful 4. And then a short ball. Typical response from the fast bowler. And just pulling that one into the onside for an easy single. So this is smart batting here by Aline. This time to the left-handed Knight, driven straight back to that fielder at mid-off, and there's no run. So again, a good over here for the West Indies. They push the two-town now on to 35, I make it.
End of over number 8, and these two having a conversation in mid-pitch to figure out what's the next move.
I think they're batting really well. They need to continue this way. Push the ball around, get the singles. If the bad ball is there, put it away and build a partnership. That's what is required now. Build a nice partnership. This is Carson going to continue. This one is driven back to her. Too hot to handle there. And a slight misfield from her. And they will get a single. So this is good. Looking for the single. Looking to rotate the strike. The left hand, right hand combination. Let it work for you as a batter. This one a full toss from Carson. Driven straight to Hannah Rowe, I believe. It's at mid-on.
Main scoreboard down here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. But the manual is working away.
And this is a wicket here for Carson. That's Allen looking to cut that one straight into the hands of, it looks like, Down, is it? Lauren Down? Yes, it is. So she makes up for that early error that Stacey and King mentioned. Misfield earlier. So she makes up for it nicely here by taking a smart catch. And that's the end of Alina. That's a big blow here for the West Indies winner.
Well, she was taken out of her comfort zone. And unlike the first T20 game where she came out blasting, New Zealand worked her out more or less and frustrated her. So she really didn't get to move into overdrive today. And a soft dismissal after putting in the work. West Indies losing a very critical wicket at the time, 38 for 2, into over number 9, and they're sort of being cramped here for scoring. These dot balls keep adding up.
Yeah, it is, and notice prior to that wicket, Knight and Allen were really getting a partnership going, pushing the ball around, rotating the strike, getting singles. They want as many dot balls in the last couple of overs. But this wicket now of Allen is going to be a bit critical here. So would Knight continue that aggressive nature, or would she tune it down a bit to try and build a partnership here?
It's a talking point here. Out comes Shady Nation. See what her approach would be, Ronnie.
Well, as you can see, this one, she was down the leg side. She looked to pull that one into the onside. Wide signal by the umpire. And there's that fielder there at that deep square leg boundary, also at deep mid-wicket, for that particular shot. This time it's a fuller length from Carson. Pushed into the onside. And no run. So, let's see if they're going to take the hitting zone away from her. Again, down the leg side. And she's actually walking across. Wide signal by the umpire again. But Nation here is walking across the stumps prior to the ball being delivered, trying to access that onside. So we saw Knight doing that early on, and here we see Nation now. Is that like their natural trigger movement, or they are naturally trying to access the onside?
Maybe just have to wait a little longer.
This one is driven straight to that fielder at mid-on, and they get another single.
So 9 overs ball, Ronnie. West Indies are 41 for 2. Nation off the mark with a single full toss, and clearly in 2 minds. And I think this is also going to be a very important period of play coming up here for the West Indies, because they're behind the 8 ball, as we would speak, Ronnie.
Yeah, and you rightly said, in 2 minds when she played that shot, because she's not sure if to be aggressive or to just tune it down a bit, because they have just lost that important wicket of Aline. And you know, that wicket is, she got 49 in the previous game, a match winning 49, I would say. And losing her now, who's going to step up? The only other person scored a decent score, had a decent score, was Hayley Matthews, 15, and she's out as well.
So, Nation, testing period of time for her. She maybe needs a score for the West Indies. Has to be today.
Yeah, it's Amelia Koo taking up the attack from Mr. Andy Roberts' end. Quickly on spot. She has bowled really well throughout this the ODI series as well as the T20 series thus far. She picked up, I believe she picked up 3 wickets. She picked up 3 wickets in the first game as well.
The torrid time here for Nation is, it's going to be spin and more spin, and she has to be very, very, very careful.
And that's excellent ball thus far from Amelia Koo. In the first match, she bowled 4 overs, 3 for 16, and she continues that good work here. And Captain Sophie Devine is showing all her feet in her. This one is walked into the onside. Go for a quick single. Gets there comfortably in the end. That's true. It's just a bit slow in that short mid-wicket region.
It was good calculated single, because she didn't go hard at the ball. She just played it with nice soft hands, which is what you wanted at that time.
Yeah, and that's what is needed at this point in time, as you rightly said, Vernon. Just push the ball into the onside, soft hands, rotate the strike, build a partnership. So it's driven straight to that fielder at that short mid-wicket region. That's Susie Beats, and no run. So at the end of this over, just 1 run coming off that over from Amelia Koo, and that would take us to the drinks break. So at the end of 10 overs, It's 42 for 2.
Yeah, 42 for 2. And just before I vacate, Ronnie and Stacey Ann comes in to join you, just to give the folks an idea in terms of what has happened so far. Haley Matthews caught Gaze, bowl Jensen for 8. Alea Lynn caught down, bowl Carson for 13. Knight is not out on 14. Nation not out on 2. 42 for 2 at the end of over number 10. The bowling so far for New Zealand: Frank Jonas, 3 overs, no maidens, 11 runs, no wickets. Haley Jensen, 2 overs, no maidens, 5 runs, 1 wicket. Hannah Rowe, 2 overs, no maidens, 18 runs, no wicket. Eden Carson, 2 overs, no maidens, 7 runs, 1 wicket. And Amelia Kerr, her first over scores 1 run. Remember, New Zealand would have won the toss and inserted the West Indies. The West Indies at the end of 10 here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in the first water break. They are 42 for 2. More comments from you, Ronnie, and then it will be the lovely voice of Stacey and King joining you for the next 5 overs.
Yes, thank you very much, Vernon. And yes, so a good position here, the New Zealanders. West Indies 42 for 2, losing 2 important wickets. That of Haley Matthews, who got 15 from 23 in the previous match, and Alea Aline, who got 49 in the previous match. As I welcome Stacey Ann King.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi. Good morning to you. How are you doing this
Good
morning?
morning. Yes, our first gig on. Interesting times here. Interesting times here for West Indies because they've opted to change their batting lineup. That opening pair we saw in the first game, Matthews and McLean, and Allen at number 3. This time around, Allen opening the batting with Matthews, as Natasha McLean, well, she didn't feature in this match today. But again, an opportunity for Kai Shona and Shadi Nation here in the middle. And these would be some very challenging overs for them because in that first game, West Indies was 67 for 1, and then they went on to score 115 all out. They lost 6 wickets in those last 5 overs.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that wonderful partnership, as you rightly said, between Haley Matthews and Alea Lane, they wouldn't have gotten to that point. This one is pulled away and it goes into the boundary for 4. So that's a good way to start after the drinks break here. Nation getting into the attack here, and she pulls this one just past that mid-on fielder and picks up a boundary. So this should get her going there.
Fran Jonas just being taken for a boundary from Nation. But that's what you want. You need to reverse that pressure a bit. She's been bowling pretty well, Fran Jonas, so you need to throw her off that line.
Yeah, definitely. The spinners. This one is worked away into the onside, looking for 2. But they're going to have to settle for 1. That's good work of the boundary there. And they're going to settle for 1. So Nation getting things going here, and this would be good for her own confidence. That wonderful shot she played for 4, now rotating the strike, getting a single. This is excellent from her and for the West Indies.
Yeah, and a bit of pressure on her as well because she didn't feature in any of the ODI matches, and in the first T20 she featured and only scored 2 of 7, so an opportunity here to make amends.
This one is driven down the ground straight to the fielder. That's Amelia Kerr, who comes off that long on boundary, and they're going to get another single. So nice rotation of the strike. This is what is required. Build a partnership here, Stacey.
Yeah, this is something that New Zealand did throughout the ODI series as well, and didn't really get off to that start in the first T20, but they've built partnerships no matter how little they were. They've spent time at the crease. They've given themselves opportunities.
Yeah, and that's what we saw was lacking in the first T20 in the West Indies. They had that one huge partnership, and then they were nothing after that. Pretty much.
66 runs off a 55 ball partnership with Allen and William and Matthew. Sorry.
Yes. This one is worked into the onside by Knight, and she's going to get another single. So a good over here That's a boundary of the first delivery, and then rotation of the strike. That brings up the 50 for the West Indies. They are 50 after 11 overs. The score now 50 for 2.
Yeah, and conversations between this pair, Knight and Nation, just probably thinking about where they need to be after 20 overs. One of them will have to bat as deep as possible, and I would reckon that the left-hander is the one that sticks around, because West Indies lineup, there's not very many left-handers within this team.
Yes. So it's Amelia Kerr. She's going to continue, and this one is down the ground, hit down the ground over that fielder at mid-on, and it goes into the boundary for 4. So just chipping down the wicket there was Knight, and meeting the ball on the full and hitting that one nicely over that mid-on fielder for a boundary. So this is good work here from Knight, and as you rightly say, she has to be the one to stay. She's not overly aggressive. She has to bat throughout this inning, and they're going to take them to a decent total.
Yeah, an excellent shot there from Kai Shona Knight. She now forced a change. She's forced Amelia Kerr, to change the angle in which she is bowled from, which is better for her just to open the face and play into that offside. So good from Kai Shona Knight.
Yes, excellent. And again, the first delivery of the over, they got that boundary. So now they can work the ball around, pick up easy single, and make it into a very good over.
Yeah, release pressure early, get a boundary early, and push around and pick up as many as you could with the rest of balls remaining.
This time, this one is driven in that point region. The fielder come out from that wicket, and they're going to get two runs. That's excellent running. Very good running there from this pair of Knight and Nation. That one, the fielder had to run all the way from that cover boundary to pick up that ball, and they saw that and immediately looked for 2. Excellent running there.
Yeah, that it was, most definitely. Georgia Plymouth being the fielder that had to do all that recovery.
Yes, dot ball. But that dot ball is fine because they got 2 in that previous ball, so it made up. So it's still a good over thus far. This one is hit straight back to the bowler. No run. A bit of adjustment there. Amelia could point into that fielder who was there at that short mid-wicket, and she's going to go to that short third man. And Hannah Rowe is going to go a bit squarer. This time outside the off stump. Was that some bat onto that one?
I'm not sure if there was, but again, from a New Zealand perspective, they're setting up their overs quite nicely. So they're bowling a lot of straighter balls, but they're also pushing deliveries away from West Indies batters just to force them into a rash shot, to force them into following that ball outside their off stump.
Yeah, and that could bring a wicket when you look into score, because it's the end of the 12th over. I take it, the 12th over, is it? Yes? So the end of the 12th over, and 57 for 2. So there's not much more to come in terms of overs. So you want to push the scoring, and by pushing that one wide, it could bring a wicket, as you rightly said. This one, Carson, again, yes, Carson continues.
Yeah, you're just seeing that fifth, sixth stump line being attacked again from Eden Carson.
Yes. And down the wicket, driven. And a bit of misfield, but good recovery there by Susie Bates, I take it. Yes?
Yeah, and good awareness, good running between this pair. I realize that, you know, Susie Bates had a dive, and therefore she'd have to get up, get the ball, and still execute a throw. Good communication.
Yeah, that's a feature of this partnership thus far. And it's already 19. This time it's driven past the bowler, but good work from Carson to prevent any chance of a single this time around.
Yeah, they just need to keep pushing things on West Indies and keep rotating the strike as well, because what you'll hate to do is not maximize during this period and then lose a wicket, and the incoming batter has just a few balls to try and get things going.
Oh, that looks good. That looks good. And that's the finger. The finger goes up there from the umpire Williams. And that's the end of Nation. Again, on the back foot, looking to play on that onside. We said it before, she was looking to play onside. And that one looked pretty adjacent. If we can see, if we get the replay. But it looked pretty adjacent from here, Stacey and King. And that's the third wicket for the West Indies. To fall for the West Indies. It's 58 for 3 now.
Yeah, Nation unfortunately going for 10 of 19. But again, creating dot balls, creating pressure. Carson has been nagging on that length, and Nation wasn't able to score off her this time around, trying to go Upton to go backward to possibly play into the offside. But I believe it was a faster delivery from Eden Carson as well, so good on her.
Yeah, and we saw in the previous over from Carson as well, she was bowling that leg stump line to Nation. She bowled a couple wides. Because of that, Nation was getting inside, looking to play on the onside. So this time around, as you said, she's probably looking to play on the onside over cover and not making contact. So a good breakthrough there for the New Zealanders. West Indies 58 for 3, so some pressure on here. Looking for a single. Could this be trouble? Yes, had she picked up, I believe it looks like Susie Bates again. Had she picked up that one and hit the stump, it would have been curtains for Knight.
Yeah, bad calling between Chanel Henry and Kaishona Knight, who was backing up quite high because she's anticipating that single as well. They've got to be careful here with their running West Indies. You'd hate to lose either one of these two at this stage in the game.
Yeah, definitely losing Henry in particular. We know how well she can bat in this last few overs here. Naturally aggressive. Likes to get things going. Likes to get a move on it. So it's Amelia Kerr. She's going to continue. This time down the ground.
Good shot. Very good shot from Kaishona Knight.
Again, using her feet well here. Getting to the pitch of that one and driving it straight. And the good thing about it, as you said, she didn't try to overhit that one. Just pushed it down the ground for a boundary. That's wonderful batting. And they would need a lot more of that. She moves on to 26. It's 62 for 3 now.
And I was just wondering, why did Sophie Devine opt for having the mid-on back, the mid-off back, and the mid-on in the ring? So now she switched it around.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Amelia is bowling leg break into the left-hander. So she's obviously going to work it.
So it's obviously going to be an easier shot to go through the line of it. Once she covers the line, which is Kaishona Knight, advances and covers her off stump, then she has that whole leg side area to play.
Yes, excellent point there, Stacey. And
good awareness as well from Kaishona.
correct. So she's really batting well for her team here. She moves on to 27. This one is worked into the onside, and this is what you're going to get with Henry. She looks for that single.
Yeah, she's a runner.
Well, that's one way of putting it. She is a runner, but she looks for a single. She looks to make things happen for her team, and she, translate that to the other player as well. This one down the leg side, wide signal by the umpire. So that first boundary has rattled Amelia Kerr here. She's into 2 already conceded 15 runs.
Yeah, she has forced Kaisia Knight now to look at another option of scoring, because that mid-off fielder is all the way back. So Kaisia Knight just thinking about using that leg side a bit more and sweeping, using those variations that we know she has.
Yeah, but the important thing is, as we saw in the last few overs, she got that boundary of the first ball, so it's easy now just to rotate the strike, and they've already gotten 8 runs off the over. This time, a good delivery there. That one looked like the wrong one, coming back into the right-hander. And that's Henry, and just pushing it right in front of her. So, Amelia Kerr, she needs to finish this one off good here for her team. This one is driven, but there's protection on that cover boundary. They're going to get a single. As you can see, Henry looking for that second run. As you rightly say, the runner in her, she's looking for that second run. That's what you want. looking for that misfield so you can get that extra run. So at the end of 14 overs, the West Indies, they are 67 for 3.
Yeah, good. A bit of play here for West Indies as they try to recover and get a respectable total. You mentioned 14 overs gone, so just 6 overs remaining. And I think that from a West Indies perspective, they will need to get a bit more than that 115. Yes, they were able to defend it, but it was just too close for comfort.
Yeah, it was an excellent spell by Henry, who caused that, who set up that match nicely for them. But is she going to always have that opening boost in her to do it for the West Indies? So they, as you rightly said, they need a bit more to give them that cushion.
Well, they brought in Cherry-Ann Fraser, so more pace for West Indies rather than totally different for New Zealand, who's opted for spin.
And it's Sophie Devine this time from the Circuit Ambrose end. This one is driven into the covers by Henry for another single. So Henry is doing the right thing here. Knight, she's set on 28. So Henry is just giving her the single, is taking the single, to give her the strike and allow her to do her thing. And she's batting really well. But this is Sophie Devine puts a different challenge here. And this one is driven. Oh, that's a wonderful stop there. It looked like, is it Green? Yes, Marty Green. Oh, and that's a poor bit of fielding there. And they're going to get an overthrow. After that wonderful piece of fielding by Green, they end up giving away an overthrow.
Yes, good timing, a good timed dive, because that was 4 written all over that.
Yeah, definitely. So now for the left-hander, Green goes down to the boundary at that long off position. So it's Susie Beats. My apologies, Sophie Devine. This one is worked to that third man region for an easy single. So yes, the boundary hasn't come yet in the over, but they have worked the ball around, gotten the singles, got a double off the misfield. So it's still a decent over thus far. This one, a bit of wit given. Henry wanted to go after that.
Yeah, but she needs to possibly remember that Sophie Devine is not going to give her any freebie, so she's not going to put pace on so that Chanel Henry can go through the line. If she wants it, she'll have to come out of her crease and get it.
Yeah, definitely. This one, full toss, wide outside out off stump. Not making the contact she wanted there, Henry. And it goes straight to that fielder at mid-off. So 2 dot balls in a row. Can she finish this one off here nicely, the New Zealand captain? This one is driven straight to Susie Bates, and they're not going to get any run there. So an excellent comeback there from Sophie Devine. There's 4 runs coming off that over at the end of 15. It's 71 for 3. And I take my leave here, Stacey, and I leave you in the capable hands of Vernon Springer.
Yeah, good bit of play here for West Indies. Current run rate 5.07. 5 overs to go, so messages possibly coming out from the coaching staff, technical staff. Vernon Springer, welcome.
Good morning, my dear. Welcome back again. West Indies in a bit of a spot, and it has to do with the balance of the team. Looking at a shady nation who's been around West Indies women's cricket for a long time, and there are just a few technical errors, and surprising that the coaching staff has not been able to work on those areas. And again, once again, a soft dismissal. She just got bogged down, couldn't get the score, got frustrated, and lost the wicket at a critical time. Here is a first up delivery from Jensen. Wide to Kashana Knight, who's batted well so far.
Yeah, Jensen bowled 2 overs for 5 runs, picked up 1 wicket, that wicket of Haley Matthews. Wicketkeeper Easy Gaze opting to step up to the stumps for her.
Here is Kashana Knight going for a big shot. I think sometimes even Henry and Knight going for power rather than just getting bat onto the ball. And she's going across the line there, and she could have just got a little delicate and just opened the face of the bat and looked straight rather than going across the line, because your head moves in that alignment. She'll have to start all over again. Tugging that one down the ground for 4. Lovely shot. And she's once it comes into that area, Stacey and King, she's going to score.
Yeah, it's a good shot from Kai Shona Knight. Opting to play straight, and she looks so much better playing straighter rather than trying to take on those long boundaries. Well, that boundary would have now taken her past, well, to her highest score against New Zealand in T20s. Previously, it was 31.
So she's going to 35 with that boundary, and she gets her 36 run here. She just plays it into the offside. So she has looked good, and it's good that she was given the opportunity to bat at number 3, being the only left-hander. Sometimes you just have to find that confidence. Just want Chanel Henry to be more or less just temper down herself, game awareness, don't give it away. Just will take the strike. At the same time, she has to get on her bike by scoring, Stacey and King.
Yeah, just that wider line that they keep attacking these West Indies batters with. There's some adjustment might need to be made.
Just get back onto the ball, forget the power. Just come quietly forward. They're making her wait, Chanel Henry. And Sophie Devine is frustrating her. They got to pack offside. They got to sweep her third man long off out on the boundary. Again, she missed the ball again, trying to get fancy. Be advised, they're a little frustrated. End of over number 16, Stacey and King.
Yeah, 4 overs remaining. From a New Zealand perspective, they'll think that they've got things just as they wanted. And they've worked really hard. Their bowlers, their fielding. Eden Carson picking up 2 wickets in 3 overs for 8 runs. Amelia Kerr, 3 overs, 17 runs. And Fran Jonas, who bowled out her 4 for 19 with no wickets, but again staying under that economy rate of 5.
So 76 for 3. Kashana Knight is on 36. She retakes her guard. Umpire Jacqueline Williams says everything is okay. She has to bat all 20 overs here, Kashana Knight. In fact, these 2, that should be the objective. She's advancing, gets a single in the end. Mid-on fielder inside the 25-yard circle. Again, she just needs to don't get reckless. It's important that they keep building the pressure. You've seen that even though you have 115, you can defend that.
I just think that they need to get into those gaps as well and force mistakes to be made from New Zealand. Push for 2. These 2 are 2 good runners.
Carson, full toss. And she should have done a lot better with that. Comes down to Amelia Kerr with a misfield from Carson. It was hit back ferociously. Chanel Henry has been striking the ball beautifully. She maybe does not want to lose that bat because it's sounding good. Kashana Knight is advancing. Suicide single. And had she hit it, might have been curtains there. Sophie Devine. She raged up for a long time.
Yeah,
She was a
having
goner.
another look. Yeah, she would have been gone with a direct hit.
Goes up to 37 Knight. Henry into strike. Full toss. Hooked away. And Henry looking for power. Missed out on that. Stacey and King.
Yeah, missed out. But again, looking for that second run.
And what has frustrated Chanel Henry is she's not been, they've really just restricted her scoring areas. You can't get the boundaries, you have to be able to still get a single. New Zealand tactics have been very impressive here so far. 17th over. 80 for 3. 2 more dot balls. End of over number 17, West Indies 80 for 3.
Yeah, and bringing Eden Carson, 18-year-old, into this match for Leah Tahuhu. She has been excellent. 3 overs bowled, 2 for 10. She's shown some maturity and control with her bowling.
So New Zealand ringing the changes here. 80 for 3 at the end of 17. We really would have 18 legal deliveries. And the West Indies' first objective would be to get up to 100, over 100. By their standards, this would be very poor if they don't get there. Henry back and punching that past the backup point fielder, misfield there, and she was able to get 2 runs in the end.
It's interesting because if you look at New Zealand's bowling lineup, they've only opted so far to bowl 6 overs of pace. Hayley Jensen has bowled 3 overs, Hannah Rowe has bowled 2, and Sophie Devine has bowled 1.
Here is a drive down the ground by Henry, getting an easy single. So this is much better over for the West Indies. 3 runs off the over so far. Henry goes to 8. It brings Knight, who is on 38, into strike, the left-hander. Again, Kashana Knight trying to go for a heave onto the leg side, and because she was looking for power, the fielders are deep. She could have maybe just nudged it and looked to get 2 runs, because Chanel Henry is an excellent runner. In the end, she restricted herself. She only got 1 run. She goes to 39. It brings Henry back into strike, the right-hander. Kerr has been impressive, Stacey and King.
Yes, she has. Into her last over. 26 runs.
Good positive drive out to the sweeper. And I think they're guilty. You got to get 2 runs there, Stacey and King, because the sweeper had to be going at least about 10 meters to her right.
Yeah, you need to be pushing at this point to force mistakes, to force errors.
So the end of over number 18. Kashana Knight goes to 40. Henry's 9. West Indies inserted by New Zealand here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium at Northstone Ground in Antigua and Barbuda. They're 86 for 3.
Yeah, 2 overs remaining. They'll need to maximize. They need to find a way. These 2. Partnership with 26 off 29.
Experienced skipper Sophie Devine coming back, wearing the number 77. She's going to bowl to Kashana Knight. Wide. Kashana Knight can't get any elevation, and that's simply because I think that she's not getting the stride out. You got to be able to get the stride and get that ball in the gap to get a single.
And even if it's not destroyed, at least bat out of your crease. Easy gaze wicketkeeper where she's further back. So make some sort of a movement because you need to target one of these bowlers. This time around going back to try and open that offside, but a good ball from Sophie Devine.
And simply because she was advancing, and Devine's experience was demonstrated there.
No, she's now taking an off-stump guard.
But she should be batting off of her crease to give her something different to think about. Ooh! Feel that mid on there dropped. What would have been a screamer, Stacey and King?
Yeah.
Amelia
Amelia
Kerr, yeah. Was in the air, hung for a while. And the breeze not blowing that strong. She dived away at it, got both hands, but it hit the turf.
Good effort. But again, you can see that it's creating pressure within these batters.
Here is Chanel Henry hitting this one down to long on, but can't get the extension. And that's simply because Devine has been mixing up and taking pace off the deliveries. And Henry has to create her own pace.
Yeah, which we know she'll do a lot of.
A little conversation taking place here with the Captain Devine and Henry and the umpire. All is well.
Yeah, I think it was more about where Chanel Henry went to play the ball.
Knight 41. She's batted well. Appeal for a caught behind, and Knight herself is getting frustrated. I think she's looking for power, and what she really just needs to figure out now, Stacey and King, is I've been here for a long time. How do I get back on ball? I have to improvise.
Yeah, as we see that delivery again, as I said, I think that she should bat out of her crease.
Give herself enough room.
Yeah, you've got to advance to these type of bowling because there's no pace on. You've got to put pace on. You've got to go through the line of it. So pick that area and go inside out through that cover region.
Devine completes the 19th over here, Stacey and King. Not for 7 from 3, so she's come back as a leader.
Yeah, she has. And after 19, West Indies are 89 for 3.
Certainly, Chanel Henry will have to come to the party here along with Knight. Knight is on 42 and
49 balls. And Henry 10 of 16.
a different day.
Yeah, they've got to make up their minds that they've got to go. Everything has to go. You've got wickets in hand. Only 3 wickets down.
We're back with Jensen. Who's bowled well. New Zealand ringing the changes.
Yeah, making sure that the right fielders are in the right positions.
So the 4 fielders who are out, third man, sweep on the offside as we break for a while. Here's Kashana Knight giving a hand away. The boundaries are massive here, Stacey and King. So that shot really was not on. Even if she played a chip shot, she could have been able to get 2 runs in the end. Looking to clear on this massive boundary. Lost her shape. And again going across the line rather than going straight.
Yeah, just tugged this one, Kashona Knight, into the leg side. But mid-on was in the ring. So if she had gone straighter with that ball, she would have definitely gotten a boundary. Well, she goes for a well-played 42 of 49. West Indies 89 for 4.
And we'll be very disappointed, Stacey and King, that she didn't get that half century there because she batted well but missed a lot of balls, missed opportunities of rotating the strike to even get singles. And on this massive outfield here at the Vivian Richards Stadium, by playing in the ball in the deep to be able to get 2 runs.
That has now brought Shabika Gajnabi to the crease.
Before Selman.
A good strike from Chanel Henry. She has found a gap.
And I think simply because the sweeper for New Zealand was more or less a little bit wide and not square enough. But lovely shot. She put that one away.
Yeah, and a good counter attack to those balls that are being bowled to her outside that offside.
Gaze comes up to the stump now. Pace off. And she's driving straight. It's gone all the way for 6. The first maximum here for the West Indies for the day. Chanel Henry on the go.
We were wondering just when she was going to get in the action and start going at it, because Kaishona Knight was doing it on one end. Thing they needed, they missed that chance to start going together and attacking these bowlers. This is the last over, 3 balls remaining. West Indies 99 for 4.
Henry goes to 20. And the thing about Henry's position is that she's batting very deep into her crease. Jensen to Henry. She's trying to get fancy. She does, and she clips this one over the short fine leg and down to the boundary for 4. Good improvisation from Chanel Henry.
Yeah, and this has been a really good over for West Indies as they bring up that 100. Just look at this, using some improvisation, stepping across to her offside and taking that delivery into the leg side where there's no fielders. Well done, Chanel Henry.
And
what an over this is turning out to be.
And the spectators on the western side, you know, really enjoying themselves.
That's almost 14 runs already.
Divine.
2 balls to go.
2 balls.
All the changes being ringed in.
Yeah, but they're making a weight also. So we've got a deep backward square, mid wicket, a long on, and a sweeper on the offside. Jensen to Henry. And that's gone for 4. I think it might be considered a wide. Pressure on New Zealand here. 1 per over. Signal buys. What do you think, Stacey?
I'm hoping that we can get a replay of that, but Chanel Henry is very displeased.
It should have been a wide. It's a wide.
She had to jump to try and get anything onto that. It missed Easy Gaze, wicketkeeper Easy Gaze entirely. Umpire Jacqueline Williams said no, that's the one for the over.
Ooh. So, West Indies in the meantime go to 107 for 4. Henry 24. And Gaze, 18 years old, couldn't get that. Jensen under some pressure here.
And more changes. Last ball.
She's bowled round her legs. Big effort from Chanel Henry. And she really has been an inspiration to this West Indies women's team, Stacey and King.
Yeah, you can't be too hard on her for not connecting here. Advanced and trying to play into that leg side area. Didn't make contact. But a good cameo from Henry. 24 from 21. West Indies women, well, they end on 107 for 5 in 20 overs.
And so at the end of 20, Stacey and King, just to give the folks an idea in terms of what has happened so far, New Zealand won the toss and inserted the West Indies women team. Hayley Matthews caught Jays, bowled Jensen for 8 of 13 balls. Alea Lean caught down Bull Carson for 13. She never got into her stride today. She had 1 boundary. Matthews also had 1 boundary. Kashona Knight caught Plymouth, Bull Jensen for 42. 48 balls with 5 boundaries. Shady Nation, another Soft dismissal, another disappointing knock from her. LBW to Carson for 10. Chanel Henry, she's been impressive. Bull Jensen for 24, 22 balls, 2 fours, and 1 maximum. And Shabika Gajnabi didn't face a delivery. She was left not out on North. West Indies, 107 for 5, 4 byes, 1 no ball, 5 wides. They lost wickets, 1 for 11, Haley Matthews, 2 for 38, Aliyah Allen, 3 for 58, Chedi Nation, 4 for 89, Kashona Knight, and 5 for 107, Chanel Henry. The bowling figures for Team New Zealand. They used 6 bowlers today. Frank Jonas, 4 overs, no maidens, 19 runs, no wickets. Haley Jensen, 4 overs, no maidens, 24 runs, 3 wickets. Hannah Rowe, 2 overs, no maidens, 18 runs, no wickets. Eden to start the resumption of the second innings of New Zealand having to chase West Indies target of 107 for 5. They need 108 to win. Ronnie, welcome back.
Yes, good morning again to all our viewers. Good morning to you, Vernon. And thank you for that welcome, that warm welcome, the Antiguan welcome.
Caribbean welcome.
Yes, wonderful. Yes, so we're about to start. As you rightly mentioned, 108 for victory. Easy victory here for New Zealanders?
Not too sure. First up delivery by Chanel Henry to Divine. There was a appeal for a leg before. She was going across the line of that delivery and missed it completely. So New Zealand opting for their two most experienced batters in Divine and Susie Bates. And West Indies going for their trump card. Henry, short delivery here is Divine back and just slapping that pass backward point down to the boundary. Affy Fletcher running around from the short third man area. Can't stop the single and Divine is off the mark. There's no slip for the West Indies. Mid on, mid off. Cover, short mid wicket. Gully, backward point, sweep on the offside. Short fine leg and a third man. For Chanel Henry, I would have really given her some encouragement and gone for the slip. I think she needs that. And maybe the traditional short mid-wicket era, but Matthews has decided to have a bowl to a 6-3 field. Here is a tickle, pass the short fine leg down to the boundary for 4. And that's what I'm saying all the time. You have to give Chanel Henry a balanced feel, a 5-4 feel. An inside edge there from Susie Bates, wearing the number 23. Squeeze pass the short fine leg and down to the boundary for 4. New Zealand are off and running. They're 5 without loss. So Divine is 1, Henry is 4. Henry, bang on delivery, driven straight up, coming around is Gachnabi. Sherian Fraser into the lineup today. Rashada Williams replaces Natasha McLean behind the stumps. It's a lovely day here in Antigua and Barbuda. After this morning we had some thunderstorms and some showers. It started late last evening. Here is an on-drive by Susie Bates. New Zealand maybe come out with an approach to go hard very early. West Indies bowlers will have other ideas. Just want to see that balance feel, a 5-4 feel. It's all well to say, come and tell someone to bowl to a 6-3 feel. But you have to be able to be mindful of what is happening around on the surface. Over number 1 is completed. New Zealand start. They need 108 for victory. They're 5 without loss. Bates is 4. And Divine is 1 as a welcome back run.
Yes, thank you again, Vernon. And yeah, not the start Henry would have wanted. She picked up wickets early in the first match and she would have wanted to continue that here. They need to pick wickets here early. Especially we know that New Zealanders, Susie Bates and Sophie Divine, they're 2 top batters. And if you could get them early, it puts pressure on the middle order, and we saw that in the first match, and it proved their downfall. So they need to strike early, and Hayley Matthews has brought herself on. She bowled really well in the first match. She actually got bowled 4 overs, 1 for 16. So she would want to restrict runs, and put pressure on the batters. Eventually would lead to wickets.
But putting pressure on the batters, you have to get early wickets. And for me, I would have been starting with a slip here for Hayley Matthews. I'd just like to see that first slip, especially that early. So you sort of build more pressure.
Yeah, you want to get as much catches around the bat as possible. Give yourself more opportunities to get wickets.
Matthews from the Sunday Roberts end goes past umpire Crawford. And Divine is playing down the line of a drifter. That's why the slip needs to be in.
Yeah, exactly. It proves your point because she's getting a ball to drift away from the right hander. She needs to have that slip in play.
Something she's going to have to work on. I just think sometimes the West Indies is just a little bit too defensive. You've got to take the attack to New Zealand. And I found even in the last game, they just waited and waited. You can't wait. You know, when you're on top, you have to seize the opportunity. And most of the West Indian women or men team, they seem not to know when they're on top.
Yeah, definitely.
Here is a delivery, which is worked out to the mid-wicket area. It's gone past the 25-yard circle, and they get an easy single. So Divine goes up to 2. Now brings Susie Bates on strike on 4. 6 without loss, went to over number 2. West Indies have to bowl New Zealand out if they want to win this one.
Definitely. Just 108. It's not that difficult. It's less than a run a ball, which is quite easy. And rotation of the strike makes it a lot easier.
Here comes Bates, coming circumspect. There's a lot of pressure on Bates and Divine because they understand their roles. They've been read the right attack by the coaching staff that says your performances have been very, very, very poor. So you got to get your act together here.
Yeah, and Sophie Divine is the 4th ranked batter in the world, and Susie Bates number 7.
Here is good awareness here, picking up 2 easy runs right here. Something which the West Indies didn't manipulate well, and you could tell the experience right here. Just soft hands, just playing it onto the leg side area. Because Shauna Knight had to come darting in from at least, I would say, 75 to 80 meters here. Couldn't stop the second run. An easy second run to the New Zealand team.
Yeah, that's right. You're totally right there. It was nicely placed, nicely weighted in terms of getting to the outfield, allowing them that opportunity for that second, which they took gratefully. So at the end of the second, it's 8 without loss. That's excellent for them. Yes, they're going at 4 runs per over. That's not an issue.
Henry to Divine, and she sneaks a single with soft hands. Henry can't stop it. And they're going to put some pressure on the inner fielders here for the West Indians. And the West Indian fielders a little bit caught on their heel. You've got to get low. If you're inside the 25-yard circle, you've got to get low. You've got to get hungry. You've got to be moving. Because these 2 batters, they're going to make you work, and they're going to find the gaps.
Yeah, you got to be in tight, as you rightly say, Vernon, and put pressure on them, not allow them to rotate the strike easily. Henry would want to continue a good form. 4 overs, 3 for 26 in the previous match.
Good delivery there, going wide. That darted around a little bit there from Henry. And Divine, in fact, Bates trying to get fancy to use the pace to just run it down past the keeper, Rashada Williams, because third man is wide. And had she got her edge onto it, Affie Fletcher would have had some running. Missed it in the end, and it did curl back. Henry has to bowl a hard length, especially to these 2 batters. Back and looking to punch, can't go past Selman. Nine without loss, New Zealand. They need 108 for victory. We're into over number 3. Mid on, mid off, cover, short mid wicket. Gully backward point, short fine leg, sweep on the offside and the third man. Punch down the ground, can't score. Chanel Henry has worked hard. She's got fitter, she's confident, and you could see her growing as an all-rounder, and she's put her hand up and said, hey, I'm going to be the senior all-rounder in this team.
And yeah, she definitely is showing her quality both with bat and ball as well as in the field.
Short delivery, pulled away for 4. Can't bowl that length, Chanel Henry, and she knows that. That was a gifted ball, and they had nothing on it. She tried something, but it just never got up run. Boundary to New Zealand.
Yeah, that was a poor delivery, as you said, and it was put away nicely by Susie Beats, just getting onto that back foot and pulling that one. Susie Beats, as you said before, she needs some runs here. And this is a good start from the New Zealanders. This is a good start from them in terms of, we saw in the first game, they were going hell for leather. We saw Sophie Devine, 23 from 18, ultra aggressive. Yes, it was a small total, but they didn't need to be so ultra aggressive. We saw this sort of batting, this cool, calm batting, won them the ODI series. So I think this is what is required from them. Push the ball around, get the singles. The bad ball is going to come where you're going to put it away, as we saw there with Susie Beats, and they're going to cruise to victory. But if they try to be too ultra aggressive, I think it's going to play into the hands of the West Indies, and they are going to pick wickets and put them under a lot of pressure.
13 without loss at the end of 3. Matthews, the West Indies captain, comes into bowl to her opposite colleague, Devine. Bates is 10 not out. Devine is on 3. She's really not come to the party here yet on this tour. Devine, the New Zealand women's captain. Matthews, bang on target. There was a little movement from Devine, who came outside the line of her off stump, and she was looking to maybe just upset the line from Hayley Matthews.
Yeah, but this is good, constant pressure here from Hayley Matthews, and she would want the other bowlers to do as well.
Here is a delivery which is flighted but driven back hard at Hayley Matthews. Look at misfield, got it in single in the end, ferociously hit back.
Was that a chance?
No, I think it bumped, based on if I can get my camera, because the reaction from Matthews didn't indicate that that's why I said that it couldn't be a chance in that one. She's going to bowl to Bates, who's in good touch so far. Bates getting fancy, looking for a single, certainly not on. Allen caught almost flat-footed there.
Yeah, but that's good. As you rightly say, looking for that single. And that's what you want. You want to see them looking for that single, trying to get rotation of the strike. Put the feelers under pressure. As you rightly say, Allen was caught on her heels.
Here is Bates on driving down the ground. And I'm a little more almost concerned, Ronnie. I'll come back to that. They get another easy single. That was in the air. Like a bit more pressure. Like it maybe pull into the surface. The New Zealand spinners, they did that excellently well.
This occasion, Sophie Devine walked straight way across her off stump, looking to work that one into the onside because of the pressure. So this is good, constant pressure from Hayley Matthews here, putting that ball outside the off stump. She has a ring of feelers on that inner circle in the offside, and she's bowling to it. And it forces the batters to do something different. What we saw Sophie Devine tried in that last ball, almost lost a wicket.
So 4 overs bowled, 15 without loss, New Zealand. Bates is 11, Devine is 4. New Zealand need 93 of 96 balls. Matthews' first 2 has cost her 5. Chanel Henry will continue with her third.
Yeah, Henry.
And I would have maybe pulled Henry out of the attack and maybe got Fraser in.
That's an option. I would have actually looked to get Allen in, because we saw Allen getting that ball to nip back into the right-handers, and she actually bowled Sophie Devine in the ODIs with an excellent delivery coming back. So maybe that's an option to give Allen an opportunity here.
They don't know anything about Sherry and Fraser, so that might have been an option. But good suggestion by you, Imran. Chanel Henry not being able to complete her action there on that delivery. strike pattern was just not right. And I think they're forcing Chanel Henry to do something out of the norm. I just want to see a bowl into a 5-4 field rather than a 6-3 field.
And she was very successful with that short of at the back of her length delivery in that first T20. And she, in this occasion, she's a bit fuller. I'm not sure. Maybe she's trying to get that swing, but I think that back of her length, that hard length, worked for her. It was difficult for the batters to get her away, and she got the reward. So I'm not sure why it is she's trying this full length deliveries now, and they're working or they're picking her off nicely.
Someone just asked me, all right, Mr. Springer, you wanted to bowl to a 5-4 field, so who would you bring in? Well, of course, Kashana Knight has to come in to the circle, the traditional mid-wicket. You know, I mean, and move the fine leg around. You give her a little bit more balance where she can begin to bowl a lot more straighter. Because of that, her rhythm is not right having to bowl to a 6-3 field because you're asking her to bowl wide, and she's really not that kind of bowler, really.
No, and look at that last delivery, just back of her length, and it was difficult for Sophie Devine to hit that square or pull that into the onside. She had to she pushed it straight to the fielder. That's Healy Matthews. Again, a difficult length for Sophie Devine to get over, to cut into that that offside. So that is her strength. I would want to see Henry bowl more of that length and cause the batters problems.
You got a new ball in your hand, you want to get wickets. Yeah, it was a slapping square drive. Big save there from
Alain.
Alain. She's been in the wars there. End of over number 5. New Zealand has 17 without loss. Bates is 12. Devine is 5. And they need 91 from 90 balls. And this is a trick now because Matthews is still continuing. And that's what I'm saying. If the game gets tight, you want to give yourself enough chance where you can come back into the attack.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. She has bowled really well this time and pushed into the onside for an easy single. Yeah, she has bowled really well, and with herself and Ram Harak, they tight that middle overs. They keep that middle overs tight. So I would have actually held her back 2 overs and try, as you say, Fraser, you have Alain, try one of them. See what's happened. Try something different. Because you need wickets.
And sometimes shorter spells work, Ronnie. You know, 1 over spell, they don't get accustomed. You bring a new bowler, you keep rotation, you keep them thinking. 19 without loss. Devine is in strike. She comes across her stumps, which is the off stump, and just punches it down the ground to the long on boundary. Now, I think what has got to actually happen is that the short mid wicket needs to come to her left, Vinod, and force Devine to play across the line of the ball. And she's too comfortable for her to just be hitting that ball just down the ground.
Yeah, okay. I totally agree with you. And just to get back to that point that you made about the rotation of the bowlers, I think that's excellent because we saw with the New Zealanders up front, you have 1 over spell, continuous. It gives the batters something different every over. And I think that is what is lacking here. Now you can see the batters, they are comfortable with these 2 bowlers, that they can afford to, work the ball more around, pick up more singles and so forth. So I think you're right. That's a valid point. I think they need to really, look at that. Rotation of the bowlers more often than not.
Matthews not for 8 so far. Bates just comes and just works it into the onside and getting an easy single.
Yeah, and that fielder was at that a bit wider that you now mentioned, Vernon, and for Sophie Devine. But when Bates came on strike, they moved that fielder squarer. Why?
Give away another single.
Yeah, you need to restrict runs here. If you're not picking wickets, you need to restrict runs because it's not a huge total. But by setting fields like that, you are allowing the batters to easily get off strike, easily get singles. And it puts the pressure on the bowlers now.
So 6 overs bowl, power play. Overs, 21 without loss. They still continue with Henry.
Yeah, I think this is not a good move here. I think you should have a Lane or a Freezer, one of the two of them here now. I mean, Henry, she was your successful bowler previously, but she has bowled 3 overs for 12 runs, no wickets. You need wickets. We keep saying this, Vernon. You need wickets.
But let's look at the field placing now, Ron. You now have a long on now for Chanel Henry and a fine leg, and a third man and a sweeper.
Why is there a fine leg when you're bowling outside the off stump? If you're bowling that line.
Discussions taking place. In fact, the mid wicket, the long on now comes into the circle, and Nation goes to mid wicket. "21 without loss."
Is she gonna bowl that shorter length? That's why you have the fine leg on the deep mid wicket.
Interesting question. New Zealand would need 87 from 83 balls. Bates is 14. She's on strike, and before Henry bowled that delivery, she came right across the off stump. Guess looking to want to work that. Pitched up, driven up to mid-on fielder. Now inside the circle. Just want Henry to bowl straight, to bowl at the stumps. That's what I would want as a coach or the captain.
Yeah, and in that, I would have had the mid wicket inside to prevent the single.
Here is a chip past the mid-on fielder down to the boundary for 4. The field is just not balanced. Run.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of the field placing is not suited for the ball that is being bowled at the moment. If she wants to bowl straight, you need to have that long on the boundary. Deep mid wicket could work, but to me, I think the fine leg should come into the circle. And there's no need for the 2-point fielders. One of them needs to be in that mid wicket, short mid wicket, if you are going to bowl straight.
Short delivery again, pulled away for 4.
If you're going to bowl that length and straight, you need that mid wicket in.
Selman is coming down now to say to Haley Matthews that the fine leg is wasted.
Which we said initially. And now Haley Matthews is going into that mid wicket region after 2 fours.
Must have a balanced field. In cricket, you have to give the bowler the comfort.
So now Susie Bates, she's not going to try that shot anymore.
Well, there's no need for her to try it, and that's why I was saying all the time, you can't sit down as a technical staff and a script and say, I want you to bowl 7-2 field to a 7-2 field. You have to have the students to be able to make that happen. You have to have the bowlers to execute that. Single on the offside to Fraser. She can't stop it. And Chanel Henry just looks dejected.
Yeah, it's poor, and it's difficult for her. She's trying her best here to get a wicket for a captain and for a team, but I would say honestly it's poor field setting that is making it difficult for the bowler, and it's easing the pressure on the batters here. It's allowing them to play shots that they would accustom playing. It allows them to rotate the strike easily, and it builds pressure, or puts pressure I should say, on the bowler, and that's not what you want. As you rightly said, Vernon, you want your bowler to be free, to bowl freely.
But let's look at this team. We've got Allen, Selman, and Fraser, three seamers. We've now gone for Gajnabi. In fact, Ramnarak.
Yeah.
So, gonna have to wait. You still have Afi Fletcher, who's not yet bowled. 30 without loss. The end of over number 7. Bates batting exactly outside her line of her off stump. Ronnie.
For that particular shot, because look at the offside field. She has a packed offside field, so she definitely is going to bowl that ball outside the off stump. So Susie Bates is counteracting by batting outside her off stump, so that ball, it's easy for her to work into the onside. Now you see a change in the field where Hayley Matthews is coming to that short mid-wicket position after the fact.
Bates is 25. New Zealand 32 without loss. Went over number 8. Karishma Ramnarak from the Sir Andy Robertson bows to Bates. Bates is on drive in. Matthews comes across, cuts that off, can't score. A dot ball. The pressure mounts here on New Zealand.
This is now a balanced field that you were asking for, Vernon. Where the bowler, if you drift one down the leg, you have that protection as well.
Here is a tug here from Bates, losing the shape a little bit, and sort of went after it. Divine comes down to say, come on, take it easy, you're getting frustrated. We have to take this team home. We've got to bat as deep as possible. And you can see the objective of both Divine and Bates. Single just sneaked away onto the offside, something the West Indies was very poor in, especially in the opening overs. In the middle overs, they failed to really rotate strike. But these two have been allowed to rotate the strike and just get singles pretty easy.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree. And you can see there, Sophie Divine just jumping on that offside across her stumps before Ramnarak delivers.
Interesting piece here, because Ramnarak wears number 77 and she's going to bowl to Divine, who's wearing number 77 also. They're thinking about a single and had to scurry back into a crease. That one went just a little bit too quickly, and you know why? Because of the practice areas. So the ball took off and it got to Matthews a little bit more quicker. She just tried to nudge it. It was almost like when you're playing golf on the greens.
Yeah, I think she was trying to play that one a bit squarer, because there's just one fielder behind square, and that's in a deep square like boundary. So she was just trying to work it in that area to get single. But at the end of that over, a good over there from Ramnarak, just considering 3 runs. At the end of 8, it's 33 without loss.
Yeah, so Sophie Divine is on 7, Bates is 26. Now, let's see what's happening here now. 8 overs have been bowled. And is it Allen coming into the conversation now? No, it's still not Allen. It's gone to Selman. So why play Fraser and Allen and don't bowl them?
Especially with the new ball, because they are medium pacers. You want your pacers to utilize the new ball.
Natasha McLean has come onto the field for someone. We'll find out very quickly. She's now been brought into the short mid-wicket area. McLean being omitted today for this game. Sherry and Fraser coming into the lineup. Stacey and King, I'd love to get her thoughts by the time she comes in here on these bowling options that Hayley Matthews is presented with. And on the leg side now, they have a deep backward square, a mid-wicket and a long on for Selman, who has just come in, and a sweeper on the offside. Ball being played into the short mid-wicket area, where Natasha McLean comes in very quickly.
I think she's in for Ram Harak. I think Ram Harak is out.
Maybe just went off the field, maybe to change her boots. They seem flat. There's no energy from the West Indies women team. New Zealand are 33 without loss. They need a live bunny out there.
That's generally the rule of the keeper, to keep things interesting.
Don't see that in Rashada Williams anyhow. Maybe if it was a Natasha McLean behind the stumps, she's a live wire.
Well, she is doing the job at the mid-wicket position. She's trying to support the bowler, trying to rally the troops, as you would see. Give them some energy over there.
They have to believe. Here is a chip into the onside, just more or less like a golf shot area. That Janabi coming off with the long arm bound, they can't stop it. And because the field is so, there's so many acres of land here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium at North Ground, you can afford that shot.
Yeah, we saw, I believe it was Knight play a lot of those shots in the air. Even Allen play a lot of those shots in the air, but it found the gap. As you rightly say, a lot of acres of space there.
Struck down the ground for another single.
And New Zealand wouldn't mind this, just pushing the ball around, getting those singles. The required run rate, yes, it's just about a runner ball now, but they wouldn't mind that. They know just a boundary here and there, and it will be under control. So this is good for them. They wouldn't mind getting these singles. And looking at the field, there's a lot of singles available.
Good delivery there from Selman. And just for a moment, Bates getting a little fancy. Didn't have any pace on it. And so she couldn't really get back onto it. Missed it. Good take by Rashada Williams.
Yeah, I think she was looking to paddle that one into the onside. As I say, there's one fielder behind square, but it was smart bowling from Salman, pushing that one wide outside the off stump and full, so it made it a bit difficult for Susie Bates to really get any bat onto that one.
This is going to be a good contest. Pulled into the onside, coming around the Sheddy Nation, who misfields, and they get a second run. Selman is upset and didn't take the ball cleanly. Over number 9 is bowled. New Zealand 37 without loss. Bates 29, Divine is 8. New Zealand needs 71 from 66. The flags are fluttering here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. New Zealand, Cricket West Indies, and Antigua and Barbuda.
Yes, wonderful conditions here for cricket. We've seen a good contest. Yes, it seems like it's an easy task for New Zealand, but some nice tight bowling here from the West Indies would see them being put under some pressure. The required run rate now jumps to 6.5. Very manageable, but a couple more good overs could see that run rate just keep climbing, and that's what West Indies would want to do. Put pressure, tight overs, have that run rate climb and climb and climb to a point where it's difficult for the New Zealanders to get.
So we're back with Ramarak is back onto the field of play, and in fact, it's Fletcher now who's going to start. And she's out caught and bowl. Is appeal for a cotton bowl.
Yeah, it's Ram Harak. She continues and she picks up a wicket in her first delivery.
Divine.
Yeah, and that's an important wicket. So cotton bowl, Ram Harak. Divine didn't really look herself in this innings at all. 8 from 19 deliveries, very uncharacteristic of her. But
By her standards.
by her standards, being the number one all-rounder and the number 4 ranked batter in T20 International.
But I wanted to go back a little bit even to that dismissal, because even though Ramnarak picked up the wicket, I didn't get the energy from the West Indies women team that, yes, we got Divine. It's almost like, you know, you just walked across. And if you can get a technical crew to just pull back that one, and you would see what I was talking about, Ronnie, in terms of the celebration and the excitement. They seem very flat, the West Indies women team.
Yeah,
Let's look at it.
They seem surprised to get the wicket. Just a celebration from Ram Harak alone. Williams just walk across to give her a high five. No enthusiasm. Yeah. Yeah.
The body language, you know, and
Says a lot.
it says a whole lot. Your mindset. And I think the West Indies women team, yes, you have made 107 for 5, but that is done. You now have to understand now that you have a game in your hand and you have the capabilities of winning the game. And you have to believe. So your body language determines what is going to happen. Busy time here for the West Indies physio. And to be honest with you, I think they need 2 physios because he's been overworked.
He's doing his job, let's put it that way.
But with the amount of players that have been going down, he's just been going from end to end, really.
He's a physio, he should be fit.
Well, and it's not so much the fitness of the physio, is the amount of players that he would maybe have to deal with on a daily basis, especially during this camp. And it's maybe something Cricket West Indies will have to look at going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Fitness of players is something critical, because you always want to have your best players out there. And if you know there's an injury to their players, you're not going to have your best players out there all the time. So that fitness is very important.
Out comes Amelia Kerr, and she's been very impressive so far on this short Caribbean tour. And she was just getting her legs going because she's been sitting down for 9 overs. This is the 10th over being started. And already Ramnarak has struck for the West Indies. Here is Kerr just on drive in. Very quickly, off the mark. Looks like it's Sherry and Fraser who is into the mid-wicket area. And that's the issue that I have. Kerr's just come in, and we got a deep backward square, a mid-wicket and a long on, and a sweep on the offside.
Yeah, very defensive, as you said earlier on, Vernon. Not putting pressure on the new batters.
Here's Bates driving down the ground. Ramnarak misfields. Got to cut those off. You know, you bowl the ball. You got to know that when you bowl the ball, that you want the batter to play it in that direction. So you have to feel the ball. You have to also help your feelers.
Yeah, as a spin bowler in particular, when you deliver, you want to be in that position, ready and waiting for that ball to come back to you. Right, and there you can see this time she was in position, so in case the ball came back to her. But generally, as a spin bowler, when you deliver that ball, you want to be in that ready position to move either way, go forward and side to side for that return catch, or that ball coming back to you.
Here's a lovely drive by Amelia Kerr. Out onto the offside. Shady Nation almost walks across. Can't stop the single. It brings Susie Bates, who is on 30. She knows the importance of this innings, and she's not going to give her hand away.
Yeah, once you don't try anything too fancy.
Experience just coming across the stumps and just working this out to the deep backward square leg fielder for a single. 10 overs completed. New Zealand, they are 41 for 1. Bates is 31. Kerr is 2. And the wicket taker, Karishma Ramnarak, picking up the wicket of Sophie Devine. Ronnie will get his lunch, get himself organized. And Stacey and King, she didn't bring any fruits for me today. I don't understand what I would have done her. I need to find out if I'm in her bad books or good books. I really don't know. New Zealand needs 67 from 60. She joins me with 10 overs to go.
Hello, Vernon. Last time I checked that I'm the visitor.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
the local, so you should have been bringing me fruits.
You're a hometown girl now because you live here almost. Here is Bates just getting the delivery, a slow delivery, and she just turns it into the mid-wicket area, and she get an easy single. She goes up in the meantime to 32. And New Zealand are coasting along quietly, 42 for 1. Welcome back. You're the skipper. What you be thinking about here?
Well, they've done quite well, West Indies, just to keep New Zealand sort of quiet in terms of needing 66 from 59 balls. Sophie Devine, that wicket to fall, but their bowlers, they've again put pressure on their bowlers because scoring 107 in a T20 match, it really sets back things a bit. So your bowlers now, the room for error is really small.
And the balance of the team also, because we haven't seen Allen, we haven't seen Fraser, and we haven't seen Fletcher yet.
Yeah, Upton to use pace during this period, but I probably think that Matthews could have taken a chapter out of New Zealand's book and used that spinner, use the extra spinner rather than bring in Cherry Ann Fraser, who's not a batter to say she's a bowling all-rounder. She hasn't batted, and we haven't seen her bowled just yet. Against New Zealand, you don't want to use that much pace. They play through the line quite easily. And especially on these tracks here in the Caribbean, you want to take pace off. And that has worked very well for New Zealand in the ODIs and now into the T20s. So I just wonder when or what the tactics really are.
Single 2. Bates down to long on. She goes up to 33. Now brings Amelia Kerr. I just like her approach to batting. Kerr, short delivery, and she just pulling that one down to the deep backward square leg fielder. Henry comes around like a 400-meter sprinter from Jamaica, darting around there. And she's worked hard, Chanel Henry.
Yeah, and it's now being called a no ball as well from umpire Jacqueline Williams. And so it's a free hit to add insult to shame.
Selman may be trying something different there.
I know it's an area that she has been guilty of in the past. And Shakira Selman, she'll just have to adjust that run-up.
Starting from just inside the 25-yard circle here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium on this lovely day here. In fact, it's afternoon as we speak. Down the onside, clipped away, no ball again by Jacqueline Williams. So down goes the head of Selman.
Yeah, this is what you don't want, because every no ball, it will be extra runs won and a free hit to get more runs. So now 64 needed from 57. So they've done well, West Indies, to get down to 57 balls, but these no balls will not help. And we saw one no ball being bowled in New Zealand innings from Hannah Rowe, making that adjustment immediately.
Selman goes past umpire Jacqueline Williams. She's bolder, but it's a free hit, and so it would not count.
Yeah, you can just hear some of the crowd celebrating, but possibly didn't realize that a no ball was called and a free hit. Jacqueline Williams just having a look again, maybe it's still too close from Shakira Selman.
She looks a little frustrated, and she's maybe saying that her boots is sliding. I think that's what she was explaining to Haley Matthews, the skipper. She's saying she's trying to land into that area, but you have to keep your boot behind the line.
Yeah, the lines belong to the umpires. Adjust that run up. Take a step back. Or a foot back, as it might be.
Might be. And the strike pattern has to be consistent. It's called muscle memory. I think she got it right in the end. Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be going fluently through the crease as well. She's only into her second over.
Yeah, the rhythm is just not right. She's a little languidly, and maybe they just need some energy. They just need a spark. Weston is just coasting along, but you can't be coasting along. You got to be thinking about winning this game. Can't stop the singer. Over number 11 completed, Stacey Anna. New Zealand are 49 for 1, Bates 34. And while she's there, New Zealand will feel that they stand a chance of winning this game, the second ODI, the second T20, sorry. Maybe I'd love to see some more ODI, but it's the T20s. And Kerr is 59 for 54.
Yeah, and some interesting stats, because I would have read just recently that in T20s, West Indies in their home condition, they're 5.2 runs per over. That's what they score at, which is, well, that's the lowest on that list of full member nations in home series. Just to recall, that first match they scored 115. And just some stats for West Indies, well, women's T20 internationals here at North Song. In 2012, India would have scored 101. West Indies changed that 102 for 2 to win that first match.
50 up for New Zealand. And Bates will come into strike and just turns the delivery from Ramnarak into the onside. Rashada Williams has some work to do. And Haley Matthews, she's getting a workout here.
My second match, just to continue my point, India scored 95 and West Indies scored 95 and India scored 92 for 9. In Australia, West Indies won 42 was the scores. And then India, England.
Here is a paddle sweep here by Amelia Kerr. Let's go all the way down to the boundary, but I think it's hit the rope for 4. So a boundary to, don't think it's been signaled, has it? They seem unsighted. So it looks as if she only got 2 runs. Let's look back at that one, Stacey and King. Thought it hit. It did hit, but maybe from my vantage point, she didn't signal. So they get 2 runs in the end. Score in the meantime goes up to 54 for 1. Bates is 35. She's in strike. Ramnarak has picked up the only wicket so far of Sophie Devine. This one is smacked out to the mid-wicket fielder. Almost got down on one leg. These are shots that they practice these days. Repetitions. Score in the meantime goes up to 55. Bates goes to 36. Amelia Kerr, she's on 9 from 6. Ramnarak into her 3rd over. Here is Amelia Kerr also hitting out to Sherry-Ann Fraser, who's playing in this game today. So Haley Matthews giving up that single, Stacey and King, in that mid-wicket area.
Yeah, good controlled innings from Susie Bates.
This time, they can't get a single at the end of over number 12. New Zealand are 56 for 1. Bates is 36 from 44. Curry is 10 from 10. They need 52 from 48 balls. West Indies need wickets.
Just 4 bowlers used thus far from Hayley Matthews. Janelle Henry bowling out her 4 overs for 21 runs. Matthews herself has been held back for 1. She's bowled 3 overs for 9 runs.
So, no Allen, we've gone to Fletcher now.
Salman bowling 2 for 12.
Just feel that the bowlers could be using shorter spells, Stacey and King. Humphrey Fletcher. Flighted delivery stroked onto the offside and they get an easy single. Hayley Matthews can't stop that. I'm beginning to wonder, Stacey and King, between Selman and Allen, how many balls they have fielded for the day, especially to the spinner. Here is the delivery. Short from Humphrey Fletcher, pulled down and put away nicely by Susie Bates for another boundary.
Yeah, classic Susie Bates shot. She uses her crease to just work those square boundaries or those square areas quite nicely. This time around, moving more to the offside and that leg side vacant area. Once she beats Janelle Henry, it runs away.
Fletcher to Susie Bates into flighted, and she just opens the face of the bat and just steers it down to the short third man fielder.
Yeah, I think for Afi, from Afi's perspective, she needs to either bowl that offside line, force Susie Bates to do something rash, because she's only looking at that leg side region which 3 fielders are at.
She's come back good with 2 good deliveries there so far. And because of the movement of the experienced Susie Bates, sort of ruffling Humphrey Fletcher, but she's been able to hold her composure so far. Wide delivery slashed, but it just didn't have the pace to carry to Ramnarak at the short third man area.
Yeah, and in 2 minds there, Ramharak, if to come forward or stay back, but I don't think she would have gotten there if she had attempted to dive forward. Just fell short of her. But good for Humphrey Fletcher, good angles, good areas.
Flighted, but once he goes into that area, Bates is going to get out the angle. Big save there by Shadi Nation coming around from the mid wicket area, and she saved 2 runs in the process.
Yeah, good backing up as well from Shabika Gajnabi.
So 13 overs bowled, and the ladies score here at the North Sound ground in Antigua and Barbuda at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. New Zealand has 63 for 1. Bates has batted beautifully. She's 42, and Amelia Kerr is 11. 13 overs bowled. New Zealand need 45 from 42.
Yeah, that Humphrey Fletcher over. Going for 7. But again, running out of bowlers that take the pace off. Which is why we were mentioning possibly the better option would have been to bring Shabika Gajnabi or Shanita Grimman, into this game, rather than bringing a pacer, another pacer in.
I'm bringing a pacer who is not even going to bowl and not even going to bat. So as you rightly said, take a page out of New Zealand's book and really, mixed it back up with a dose of spin also.
It also shows that injury to Stephanie Taylor really impacting this West Indies team bowling lineup as well, because she was still another option, whether she would be used or not.
Certainly her batting is also being missed. And not having the services of a Deandra Dottin, it's even more pressure.
Or Shameen Campbell or Kaisia Knight.
Even a Brittany Cooper down the onside here. Kashona Knight is sprinting away. Big save again. Tumbling save. She saved 2 runs, but they come back for 3 quite easily. This has been good aggressive running by the New Zealand pair in Kerr and Bates.
Yeah, good save from Kaisia Knight, but just wondered if she landed badly. She's up and running. But Susie Bates, yeah, she just, once there's that room, Hayley Matthews now goes into that short fine leg region, but once she has room on that leg side, she will play those little fancy sweep shots.
She goes to 45, brings Amelia Kerr in, strike goes on 12. Ramnarak. Kerr is back and just pulling this down to long on. It's almost like a walk in the park for New Zealand. Matthews has just not been able to stop this more or less flow of easy singles, which just come quite easy.
Yeah, they need wickets or they need dot balls. Another 40 needed from 39.
Here's Ramnarak being ruffled by Susie Bates. She had to change her mind by signaling dead ball, because earlier clock Bates was going right across the off stump.
Yeah, just to open up that leg side area.
Ramnarak to Bates. She's just back and just working this out into the middle wicket area. That single is just too easy, Stacey and King. Gotta be able to take that out.
And good experience for Karishma Ramharak. Now she has to think quickly on her feet. She has an opportunity to play in this series, this New Zealand series, because of Anisa Mohammed taking 6 months break from cricket.
Big save again by Kashona Knight. Ooh, save 2 runs. What a save.
Yeah, and she had to hurdle over the CG United board to the end. Good athleticism.
A lot of work here for Kashona Knight, and she's really patrolling the leg side boundary area there.
Yeah, as we have a look at that again. They got that left hand out in time, made the save. Just
And
look at her follow through.
Beautiful hurdle for Barbados. Here is a drive from Amelia Kerr down to the long on boundary. Can't stop the single. And Karishma's Ramnarak spell comes to an end. 1 for 23. And New Zealand, they need 36 from 36 balls. Bates is 46. Kerr is 16.
Yeah, good partnership between this pair, and it's definitely something that, from a New Zealand perspective, they've always built partnerships at some crucial times in the matches. And this partnership worth 34 from 30. That opening partnership worth 37 from 55 between Susie Bates and Sophie Devine.
It's 12:27 in Antigua and Barbuda, and it's 11:27 in Jamaica, and 14 overs have already been bowled. Stacey and King, we're going into the 15th over, and Affy Fletcher starting from the Sir Curtly Ambrose end. We see drive in the offside, out to Kashona Knight. The physio is out there. He's going to have to give some treatment to Knight. And we say congratulations to Sir Curtly Ambrose and also to Shivnaran Chandapal, the legend, 2 coaches of the Jamaica Tallawahs, and their captain Ravman Powell for winning the Hero Caribbean Premier League 2020. Here is a drive from Bates down to long on. Gajnabi can't stop the single. So it's almost like a walk in the park here now, Stacey and King.
Yeah, the lengths are getting too predictable. It's just a swing through the line.
Here is a slice drive inside the circle, and just for a moment, Kerr playing out of context because it's really not her style.
Yeah, Haley Matthews tried to cover some ground to get there, but it landed safely.
Here is again Bates being able to use her levers and being able to just hit this one on down to the mid wicket and long on feeler, wide long on.
It's almost like she's targeting that cow corner region. After Fletcher, she has to pull that line. It's too easy. She needs to pull back that line a few.
It's just right in the arc. And it's just slow turn, flight it up. Driven to the offside, can't stop the single out to Koshana Knight. And it's almost like a walk in the park here. The New Zealand batters, they can do no wrong. Pressure needs to be created. Haley Matthews has to come up with a new formula. Can't be that easy. Fletcher. Flighted. On drive, down the ground to Gajnabi. Can't stop the single. So if he continues this way, New Zealand will just coast home. 15 overs bowled, 78 for 1. Bates 49, Kerrs 19.
She needs to find a way, Haley Matthews, to break this partnership. They need wickets, that's what it comes down to.
A lot of cricket taking place in the Caribbean. You have the Windward Islands 50 over tournament in Grenada between St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Dominica. All this in preparation for the Cricket West Indies Super 50. Today is the 1st of October. Exciting times. 2022 moving along nicely. So we got Sherry Fraser, who's finally going to get a bowl, Stacey and King.
It's an interesting move from Haley Matthews. You need pace off. And let's hope that just the extra pace from Cherry and Fraser can get that breakthrough. Ooh.
Lucky with that one. I almost say she started with the wide. Bates is looking and she's having a little chat with Rashada Williams who says, well, maybe today is her birthday. Bates is 49 and Bates will certainly not want to give her hit away. She will want to be there at the end. Undone by pace here so far, so cool. 2 dot deliveries, not too bad. Stacey and King.
Yeah, but offering up width. Just being outdone by the pace. She's also on 49, Susie Bates, so doesn't want to give it away because it's a new bowler as well.
Playing on the line of the delivery. Got away with that. She maybe might have got a little inside edge onto that. Let's wait and see.
And an opportunity to run out on the other end.
No, she didn't get a nick onto that one, and I think she got a little frustrated playing across that line there. Against the West Indies. Last time she would have scored a half century would have been 2018 in T20. 2004. 2014, and the first in 2009. She's still on 49, but the male occurs look so impressive on this tour. Comes into strike to face Fraser for the first time. And she's just back and turning it into the mid-wicket area. Haley Matthews is darting in. So this has been a good start so far here by Sherry and Fraser.
Yeah, good start. And there's the extra pace and the unfamiliarity as well.
Not knowing her, and she's bowling a lot more wicket to wicket. Fraser wearing the number 80. Down the onside, wide signal, just about going up for an appeal, and she just sort of lost her radar there, pulled that one down, and fell away in her approach.
Yeah, overcompensating, trying to bowl 2 straight.
80 for 1. Fraser to Kerr. Selman in ducking, but she's been able to get her inside edge onto that and get an easy single in the end. Kerr goes up to 20. Now brings Bates into strike. If she gets a half century, it'll be her 5th against the West Indies. Wide, and just as Stacey and King said, overcompensating, they get a bye also in the process. So West Indies, Fraser starting well and then just falling away, not ending as she would want to. Bowling a wider.
Yeah, she has the pace. She just seems to be lacking the control.
$83 for 1. Kerr on strike. Bates on 49 on the non-striker's end. Kerr just steering this down to Selman. Can't score. 16 overs bowled. New Zealand need 25 of 24 deliveries. They're 83 for 1. Bates 49, Kerr 20.
Yeah, good over from Fraser. 4 runs scored off it, and 2 of those runs were wides. Just have to work on that control some more.
So what's the option here now? It's gone back for Selman.
Yeah, I think it's definitely pace off. Pace off is the answer. Selman will, those no balls will be to the back of her mind as well. So she'll have to make those adjustments.
New Zealand need 108 for victory. West Indies scored 107 for 5. Kashona Knight contributing 42. Should have got a half century. It's too many dot balls. Chinil Henry once again was impressive. Didn't bowl as well as I would have wanted her to, but that's history. Selman, the vice captain for this team. Bungser went out to bowl to Bates, and Bates is just getting right outside the line of the off stop and just turning this out to Chinil Henry. Deep backward square, 50 to Bates, Susie Bates. And a very well controlled knock here from Bates. 57 balls, 60 minutes with 5 boundaries. Lovely knock by Susie Bates.
Yeah, she brings up her 23rd international T20 50. Susie Bates. It's very controlled, I must say.
Well, for a score of this nature, you needed maturity and you needed that class. Here is Amelia Kerr advancing. And when she gets there, she missed it completely. Got a leg by because it was going down. Selman beckoning to Allen. Gotta get in there tighter, but I don't think she could have stopped that because she was really pretty deep in the backward point area. In the meantime, the score goes up to 84 for 1. I think Bates now will get into a 50. We'll just decide that she's not going to leave this too late. She's been there for a long time. 50 from 57. Very controlled innings.
Yeah, she might just get on with things now. She's crossed that landmark.
Good Yorker delivery. She got down on it, but it didn't have any pace, so she really couldn't find the gap to squeeze it past the gully and the backward point area. Allen fielded. The West Indies have to believe somebody needs a chirper. Affy Fletcher is trying to come up with something. So too is Ram Narak. Shadow Williams very quiet. Bates batting outside the line of her off stump. And she's slugging that down to the boundary for 4. Gone past the wide long on, just as we said. And Selman even frustrated more.
Yeah, she's targeted that cow corner region, that deep mid-wicket to the left of deep mid-wicket region in her innings. It really does seem to be her scoring area, her most scoring area.
And This partnership of 52 has so far come off 25 balls. West Indies have not had an answer for these two.
Yeah, she scored 19 runs in that region, that pull shot.
She's 54 Bates.
And just look at where she's standing to bat as well.
Good Yorker there from Selman.
And possibly realizing that she's standing almost on a Midland off stump because, again, long levers trying to attack that mid-wicket region. But a good ball from Selman, opting to go a slower ball, Yorker length delivery.
I just think that if she's going to bowl that line, Stacey and King, then the sweep on the offside is wasted. And, you know, at this point in time. But it's pressure being put right back onto the West Indian bowlers. That positioning of Susie Bates batting almost off stump line. She's bowler going right through the gate. Lost her shape there, Susie Bates. Went right across the line, missed it. And West Indies strike. Is it too late? 89 for 2, 17 overs bowl. Amelia Kerr is on 20.
Yeah, good comeback for Shakira Selman. She's been a bit expensive with those no balls, and she's been punished by Susie Bates, who attempted another walk across to the off stump to open up that leg stump area, that leg side area. Good thinking from Selman, not changing the line of going Yorker length once again. Susie Bates goes for a well-played 54 from 61. New Zealand 89 for 2.
Yeah, very controlled. They need 19 from 18 deliveries. West Indies need wickets. So they have to come up with some creation. They have to, these next 3 overs can't be that defensive. They've got to be attacking. Elaine Turner, her mother, supporting staff. I think they just need some music out there to keep them going. And as you can see, somebody's brought out I wonder if that is Black Label or English Harbour. Antigua, Shady Nation waving to the pavilion for something. So they continue with Cherry and Fraser.
Yeah, just 4 runs coming from that over, and as I mentioned, just 2 of them were off the bat.
Here's Amelia Kerr driving out to Nation. They're thinking about 2, but they change their mind when they get 1 run. And in comes Plimmer, who can hit a long ball. New Zealand need 18 from 17 balls. They're 90 for 2. Kerr has batted well so far. She's 21. Plimmer in strike. Georgia Plimmer. It's an under edge gone past Plimmer's bat. So impressive here so far is Sherry and Fraser.
I like the line in which she's bowling, but if she's bowling that line, why do you need that deep square? You need to just focus on this offside area. You don't have very much runs to play with around. It's 18 runs needed off 16 balls. So if you want to keep the fine leg, yes, but bring that extra fielder.
Here is Hayley Matthews just put under a little bit of pressure. And Amelia Kerr had to get back into her crease. You have to create pressure. You can't, it's like, West Indies is like sitting back and waiting for New Zealand to make a mistake. You got to create that. You got to attack. It's just too defensive.
Plimmer is inexperienced as well. She's into her 4th international T20 match.
Here is a delivery which is worked onto the short middle area. Misfield by the captain, Hayley Matthews, but they were off and running. And she couldn't stop the single. I like Fraser. I like Sherry and Fraser so far, what I've seen. .92, 91 for 2. Kerr comes into strike. Plummer is 1. There's a appeal for a caught behind. She's out caught behind. I think she will have to go to the match referee. She's not pleased with the decision, but umpire Crawford has given her out, and she's saying she didn't play that ball.
Well, they heard something. These West Indies fielders. The bat was really close to ball as well.
Let's look and see what's happening here.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that wicket now brings Cherry-Ann Fraser to her first international T20 wicket.
So again, we're going to go right down to the wire. We're going to have another close game. New Zealand needs 17 from 13 deliveries. Fraser has picked up her first T20 wicket for the West Indies, and they are now 91 for 3.
And she's only into her second T20 match, international match for West Indies, Cherry-Ann Fraser.
Maddie Green comes out for New Zealand, and she's facing Fraser. Fraser to Maddie Green. Maddie Green is driving. She's out, run out. In fact, there's going to be a discussion taking place here now, because was Fraser in her way?
Yeah, but Fraser's back was turned. If we can get a replay of that, Fraser's back was turned because she was looking at Chanel Henry, who was fielding the ball. So the runner would have run directly into her path.
Decision taking place between umpire Jacqueline Williams,
which is Maddie Green. If we can get a replay, would be
and
absolutely.
Shannon Crawford. But I think you were right in your description. She
And
did
she's
run into
given
her,
out.
and she's given out.
And rightfully so, because again, if we can get that replay, we'd show that point. Just look at it there. And that's the end result, but we need to see that from a bit further back.
Maddie Green would have had to get around, and that was key. And I don't think she was concentrating. She just ran into Fraser. She's still in shock.
Yeah, unfortunate for her.
I think the match referee, Mr. Michael Raghunath, he's going to have a lot of work here to do today.
Because she stood there for some time.
And she was arguing with the umpire. I mean, the fielder was in her right, and she also had to be aware to figure out, hey, how am I going to get around her? Because where you expected the fielder to be.
But a good over from Cherry-Ann Fraser that came to an end, 2 runs and 1 wicket. And that run out.
So 91 for 4. New Zealand needs 17 from 12, and after coasting, they look like they're going to be struggling to get home.
Yeah, we've seen this quite often with New Zealand, especially that first match, that first T20 match. They looked all set.
Selman starts with a wide. You don't want to go down that road. So we got Lawan down. No, Plymouth is still there. Plymouth facing. Down the onside again from Selman. Think Plymouth would have got a little nick onto that. So we would have heard that miles away. She goes up to 2. And that's why I just think that Hayley Matthews missed a trick by just creating a little bit more pressure. Because as Stacey and King said, in tight situations, these games have always gone right down to the wire. 93 for 4. Driving, Fraser trying to get there, can't get there, and it goes down to the boundary for 4. Big effort there, Stacey and King.
Yeah, good dive to her left. But again, that advancement, that movement to open up, to get closer to open up that offside from Georgia Plymouth.
A boundary needed to just release the tension and the pressure there. But I just think that delivery from Selman, I don't think that was the delivery that you wanted to be bowling at that point in time. Giving the batter enough time to be able to free her arms. You wanted to restrict her as much as possible.
I think she needs to bowl that Yorker length that she's previously bowled Susie Bates.
Peeled for a leg before, but I think that one would have been outside the line of the off stump there.
Yeah, much better. Take singles, give them singles, restrict those boundary balls.
$97 for 4. Selman. Although she has picked up a wicket, she's been expensive. 1 for 23. She's bowled a couple of no balls, which has really certainly not helped. 98 for 4. Down. Laura Down is in strike now to Selman. Can't stop the single. Just played into the short mid-wicket area. And New Zealand just strode around. And score in the meantime goes up to 99 for 4.
Yeah, they seem to be happy to give away those singles, but just 9 runs needed off 8 balls now.
I would be forcing this pair to go over the top.
Exactly. You've got to get tighter. Those ring fielders need to get tighter because
the long one
they've got
needs
the
to come
power.
in, put the what's the name? Karishma Ramnarak in the short mid-wicket position there. In fact, I would even be bringing the deep backward square leg of Henry inside the circle and the sweeper on the offside. Force them to go over the top. Another single again. Allen can't stop it. 100 up for New Zealand.
Yeah, and this is good running between this pair, Plymouth and Lauren Dunn. Good understanding between this pair because Aliyah Allen, she's in the circle. But again, not coming off as fast as possible to restrict a single.
New Zealand's 100, 81 minutes. You need 8 from 7. This can go right down to the wire. You gotta be able to close off. It's just too easy. If you're gonna win, let them go. Again, another single. So the fans have been treated here so far at the end of 19. New Zealand are 101 for 4. Plymouth 6, down 3. New Zealand needs 7 runs from 6 balls. You have to try something different, Hayley Matthews.
And bowling options, well, Hayley Matthews, she's only bowled 3 overs. Afi Fletcher has bowled 2. Jerry-Ann Fraser has also bowled 2. So it's interesting to see the options that are available and what option is she going to take.
Has to be the Fraser's option. She's bowled well so far.
Discussions amongst the senior players. Shakira Salman, Hayley Matthews, vice captain for this series. I'm sure they'll be saying to Jerry-Ann Fraser, no white, just stay wicket to wicket.
Can't have the deep backward square. You don't need that deep backward square leg fielder. And in fact, I don't even think you need the mid-wicket at this time.
Yeah, I don't think you need the mid-wicket, but you'd need the backward square almost around finer to a point region because of the pace in which Fraser bowls. But you definitely don't need 4 fielders outside.
It's a final over. New Zealand needs 7 runs from 6 balls.
Janelle Henry just sharing a couple words of advice to Cherry and Fraser. Might probably be nervous, as I mentioned. She's only into her second T20 international for West Indies women. So opting to use Fraser rather than Fletcher or herself. Matthews, who was bowled 3 for 9.
Down and strike. Flashed out to the sweeper. Shady Nation. They're thinking about 2. And they had to scurry back in. They only got 1 run in the end. So good recovery there by Shady Nation.
And right away you see a change. You see Alea Allen going out to that region and possibly being a quicker fielder. But Fraser can't give that amount of width. Now it's too easy for this pair to free their arms.
That's why you got to pressure them. You got to bring more fielders inside the 25-yard circle. Single again. You can't win it this way, Stacey and King.
No, you're basically playing for hopes right now. You're hoping that either Fraser will bowl a dot ball or Janelle Henry will make a good feel and hit the stumps again.
Here is a whip into the onside, and they're going to look to come back for 2. They can't stop that. That's good run in here by this pair in Down and Plymouth. Pace on, that's what you were talking about, Stacey and King.
Yeah, it's disappointing to see because, again, to me, pace on is the easier way to score. There's a lot of acreage out there. So once they get into any gaps, they will push for 2.
The field still remains the same with 3 from 3. Got to try something different. It's just too basic. Just too basic. Slash, high and hard, over, cover, coming around is Alain. She can't stop it. They get 2 runs quite easily.
I think Hayley Matthews is going to be very upset with herself when she realizes that she only bowled 3 overs. She had another over. She should have been bowling that final over. That's my opinion.
I don't know if it would have mattered much, Stacey and King. You think so? Based on, as you're rightly saying, with the vast areas of acreage here?
I think it would have mattered because, and I'll try to justify her experience. Hayley Matthews has much more games than Cherry Ann Fraser under her belt. She has a faster ball as well. So if she opted to bowl, then close in the field a bit more, set either a leg-sided field or a one-sided field that she wants these 2 to score off of, I think that pressure would have gotten to them.
They've now got 1 fielder out in the meantime, something which I personally feel they should have started with in the first instance. But let's see if this is going to come down to a contest. Driven. Somebody could be in trouble here. She hits. No, she misses. And New Zealand win. Is that Cherry and Fraser that came around there? Is that Nation or Allen?
I think it was Alea Allen.
She missed.
Who made the field.
As Stacey and King said, she just felt that Hayley Matthews should have bowled the last over.
So New Zealand, they have now won this second T20 international and leveled the series 1 apiece. And Georgia Plymouth and Lauren Down being the 2 to see it home this time around. They get there with 1 ball remaining. So West Indies winning that first game by 1 run, and now New Zealand winning this one with 1 ball to spare.
Can you get any little closer than that, Stacey and King? You've played in some of these games. It's almost a little scary once you see West Indies and New Zealand women fighting through in the end. But an exciting game here, and the fans who came out here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, they were treated to nothing else but exciting cricket. A low-scoring game. West Indies 107 for 5 when all said and done. But the most important thing is that in the end, New Zealand have leveled the series. So, folks, if you just joined us here this afternoon in Antigua and Barbuda, we have West Indies women. They would have batted first, scored 107 for 5. The scorecard for New Zealand women, you would have been able to see Matthews, Hayley Matthews. She would have scored 8. Hayley Matthews caught Gaze Bowles Jensen for 8. Aliyah Aline caught down Bowles Carson for 13. Kashana Knight caught Plymouth Bowles Jensen 42. Shedi Nation LBW to Carson for 10. Chanel Henry Bowles Jensen for 24. And Shabika Gajnabi not out north. 107 for 5. The West Indies. The bowling for New Zealand was led by Hayley Jensen with 3 for 24 from her 4. Eden Carson coming in for this game, 4 overs, no maidens, 12 runs, 2 wickets. Frank Jonas, 4 overs, no maidens, 19 runs, no wicket. And then you also would have had Hannah Rowe, 2 overs, no maidens, 18 runs, no wickets. Amelia Kerr, 4 overs, no maidens, 23 runs, no wickets. And Sophie Devine, 2 overs, no maidens, 7 runs, no wickets. When New Zealand started, they lost their captain, Sophie Devine, Cotton Bowl Ramnarak for 8. She struggled off some 20 balls. Susie Bates, Bowles Selman for 54 of 61 balls with 6 boundaries. Amelia Kerr caught Williams Bowl Fraser for 25 balls face. And Georgina Plymouth not out 7. Maddie Green run out Matthews without scoring. And Laura Down not out 9. In the end, New Zealand getting home, reaching their target, 108 for 4 with 1 ball left. The bowling for West Indies. Shillen Henry, 4 overs, no maidens, 21 runs, no wicket. Hayley Matthews, as Stacey and King said, 3 overs, no maidens, 9 runs, no wickets. Karishma Ramnarak, 4 overs, no maidens, 23 runs, 1 wicket. Shakira Selman, 4 overs, no maidens, 26 runs, 1 wicket. Affie Fletcher, 2 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, no wicket. And Sherian Fraser playing only her 2nd game for the West Indies in T20 International. 2 overs, no maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket. Just before I get Stacey and King in here, 4 of wickets, 1 for 37, Sophie Devine, 2 for 89, Susie Bates, 3 for 91, Amelia Kerr, 4 for 91, Maddie Green run out. Your thoughts, Stacey Ann?
I thought it was good bowling from New Zealand to restrict West Indies, again, win the toss and realize that they went wrong in that first ODI and come back in that first T20, and come back in the second T20 and bowl first once again, restrict West Indies to 107, but this time around, getting over the line. Eden Carson, who bowled, as you mentioned, 4 overs, 2 for 12, well, that is career best figures for her. So, again, another player taking that opportunity for New Zealand. And then, of course, batting in the ending, Susie Bates, being a senior player, standing up and scoring that 54 from 61, just to see her team over the line, because it's an area that they needed to work on, New Zealand, from that first T20. They struggled there. They lost those 2 wickets, those 2 senior player wickets, and then they struggled throughout the rest of the innings. So good comeback from New Zealand's perspective in this series, but from West Indies' perspective, I think they need more runs. They need to constantly try to get to at least 120 plus. Give their bowlers a chance to defend whatever score is placed on the board.
And to support you rightly, Stacey and King, I would also want to feel that in targeting what sort of total they want, if they get anywhere close to 120, 125, it now means that somebody has to bat through the innings for the West Indies. We saw later on where Susie Bates was the person who put her hand up. And these tracks here at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium for the T20 games, says Ian, has played more or less up and down. I don't want to say two pace up and down. The spin, the dose of spin that has been here, you have to be able to use your feet. And the West Indian batters have not been able to find the gaps, especially in the middle overs.
I just think that they need to work just a bit harder where that is concerned, and especially the opening partnerships, where we lost Haley Matthews early in this match. And first match, we lost Natasha McLean in the first over. Again, they need to find a way. I know they're still working on combinations and who works well with who or what positions are for certain players, but they've got to find a way faster. It's becoming just a bit too complacent now, and the dependency to just wait on certain players or some players to score. They need to find other scorers soon.
So, folks, we have come to the end of an exciting game in the second CG United International Women's Series. New Zealand women visiting the Caribbean right here in Antigua and Barbuda, the home of cricket West Indies, winning by some 6 wickets. West Indies batting first scored 107 for 9, 107 for 5, sorry. And then New Zealand women in the end getting home quite easily, but with 1 ball to spare, 108 for 4. Bates, who certainly will be named man of the match, 54 of 61 deliveries. There's a back-to-back game because tomorrow, Sunday at 1:30, we'll be back on air to give you the interesting and call the game for you. It'll be the third one. The series now level at 1-1. Along with my technical team here, Stacey and King, Ron, and the entire technical staff here who's made this success so far, I'm Vernon A. Springer signing out here from the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in St. John's, Antigua, for this important encounter, New Zealand women versus the West Indies women CG United International Series.